Good morning, Law Nerds. It is Friday. It's February 23rd, 2024. We are watching State versus Hannah Gutierrez. She is the armorer from the set of Rust, where Alec Baldwin fatally shot cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured Joel Souza. Today's stream is brought to us by our sponsor, Mistplay. Yes, we have a sponsor for today's stream. We'll hear more about Mistplay later, but today we are going to join court in session. As a quick summary, I was listening to court in the car yesterday, picking up my kiddo because my husband was sick. And as I was listening to court, they are doing all foundational evidentiary items. So the witness that is on the stand or resuming on the stand this morning is moving into evidence item by item, each round that was recovered on set. Some recovered from the cart, some recovered from the Mary Kay bag, here, there, everywhere. So it is marking all of those things into evidence. It is laying the foundation for later witnesses, but also going through what is a live round, what is a dummy round, what shakes, what doesn't shake. It's kind of tedious evidence. It's whenever you get the witness that has to mark every single minute item into evidence, it is slow, it is boring, it is necessary. So will I talk over parts of that to answer questions? Absolutely will. Am I reminding you what we're here for today? Yes, I am. What are we here for today? We have questions. We have questions. We have questions about this case, and I hope the evidence answers those questions. And if it doesn't, then you know what we have? Doubt. So let's see what our questions do. Our questions will either be questioning or our questions will turn into doubt. So I'm not even going to roll the intro today because court is no, you know what? They're still marking items of evidence and the prosecutor's still futzing with the screen. So what we're going to do is roll the intro and get into it and answer your questions as we go. I'll also be in the chat as we're streaming. Let's roll.
Hey there, I'm Emily D. Baker, the internet's go-to legal analyst, breaking down the legal side of the pop culture and entertainment stories we can't stop talking about. I'm a big fan of the cursey words. I've been a licensed attorney for over 17 years, but this is not legal advice. This is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not... Let's get into it.
All right, y'all, in true fashion, I will be Streamyard futzing with my stuff. Right now, they are going over the t-shirt that was taken off of the victim, Helena Hutchins.
Do you see here where it says marker 18?
That is what they are taking a look at.
What does that mean to you?
What that correlates with is what I marked it with our
welcome back to court, day 2.
So it was marked on scene with a yellow marker that stated as 18.
Okay. State's Exhibit 59. What writing do you have here?
I have it as from Med 60.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you again. I think you indicated that this was the same shirt that was in 59, is it? Or I'm sorry, 58.
It is not. I apologize.
So we are going through evidence.
Let's move to State's Exhibit 60.
Foundational evidence.
Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And
remember, everything has to be identified, everything has to be marked, and everything has to be entered into evidence by someone within the chain of custody. She was in the chain of custody, that's what we're doing.
And who is wearing this shirt on the day of the incident?
Get it
I believe
together.
This shirt belonged to
Cecilia, they're on a little bit of a delay.
Right, thank you.
So that they covered that in court this morning. They've been going through all of the rounds,
been admitted into
and
evidence,
now they're moving on to other evidence.
State's Exhibit 61, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And did you take this photo?
Yes.
And can you tell us where you took the photo and why?
This is the inside of Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle, where the 2 boxes of ammunition that were handed to him were secured.
State's Exhibit 62, what's that?
This is a close-up on those ammunition boxes.
KK Lala, I yelled in my car when I heard that our sweet Jensen Ackles had a live round in his ammo belt.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the label says?
None of the actors should have had live rounds
dummies, JS.
in their belts.
And when you say JS, you're referring to those small letters in the center?
Yes.
All right.
Got to get my notebook ready for day 2. Haven't even had a chance to do it yet because my keyboard wasn't letting me log into my computer.
This is that same box.
Just as a note, the cursor on the screen is the prosecutor's, not yours, not mine.
In my office, in my processing room.
Okay.
That is the cursor we're seeing on the
States
screen.
Exhibit 64.
This is the inside of that box.
And this round here, we may have already discussed it. Was this round sent to the FBI?
Yes.
Was it determined to be a live round?
Yes.
We're going to be doing this for a while today.
States Exhibit 65. What's this?
I know all of
These
you that are like,
those
I want to
same
move the
rounds
cursor. I
removed
know.
From the foam insert and layout.
I know. It's
Okay.
real annoying.
And
we're not in control
if you
here.
know, and if you
We're
need
just
me to
observers.
bounce back to the previous photo, I'm happy to. From looking at this,
Christine,
do you know
11
which
a.m.
of these is
It'll
that
be in your
live
member
round?
spaces at 11 a.m.
The live
The link.
round in this case
11
would
a.m.
be
Central, so an hour
next
from now.
to all of the rounds that have the hole drilled through the side.
Here?
Yes.
The board hole. I can see the hole from here.
Let's talk about that. I want to make sure.
We talk about the hole.
Let me ask you this: when you took the
Crystal,
rounds
no, I
out of
did
the
not spill
styrofoam
whiskey on the
insert
keyboard.
and you
No,
lined
that's
them
not a
up, did
far
you
off
line
guess.
them up in the same order that they were in the styrofoam insert?
No.
Okay. Why did you put these 5 at the bottom by themselves?
Because they were a different type of round.
AR,
Okay.
I'll let the chat
And so
fill in
how
what's
are
on the
these
bingo
5
card.
over here on the left
Board holes on the
different
bingo
than the rest
card.
of the rounds from the box?
We might have to name the pickle board
so they
hole for
have
this
the hole
trial.
drilled through the side.
All 5 of them?
Those 4 and then the one on the end would be the live round.
Okay. This one right here.
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you. States Exhibit 70. Well, let me stop for a second. I think you testified yesterday that you participated in a search warrant at PDQ Props. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you collect any
PDQ
live
Prop is the
ammunition
prop
from
house.
PDQ Props?
Yes.
Okay.
That
Um,
supplied
and
weapons and
let's
ammo
turn
to
to
the
States
set.
Exhibit 70. Do you recognize this?
Seth Kinney
Yes.
from PDQ Prop
What is
has not
this?
been charged.
This was a box of ammunition that was recovered from PDQ props.
Seth Kinney's allegedly the one that was on the phone with Sarah Zachary
A box
before
of
she threw a bunch of evidence
ammunition?
away.
Yes.
Was it live or dummy or blank?
Only live ammunition was collected from PDQ props.
Okay. When you were there, were
And
there
for those
other
of you
types
that are new, I
ammunition there
try
also?
Yes.
to answer questions at the
Okay.
break. This is all foundational.
States Exhibit 71.
Claire asked
What
how
are we
long
looking
for the
at
trial?
here?
3 weeks.
This is the live ammunition that was recovered from PDQ props.
And this live ammunition that
Some
was
of those look
recovered
weird.
from PDQ Props, is it visibly different than the live rounds that were found on the movie set?
Yes.
And how
And no
is
one's
it visibly
objecting
different?
because this is foundational questions. Some of these are
So
leading.
there
were
They're letting it go because
Different
you
types
just want to get
of
through
live
this.
ammunition collected.
If
from
I hear her say
PDQ,
patine, I'm going to die.
including different stamps on that ammunition.
And let me ask you this, the projectile shape, is the projectile shape
At Heather, I'm going to answer your question. Why would a movie need live ammo as a
different
prop?
in these
They don't.
than in the
It never
rounds
should have been on
that
set.
were found on set?
Yes.
Live ammo never should have been on this set. The fact that it was is reckless.
States Exhibit 72.
How it got on set
What are we
is one of the
looking at
questions
here?
I have.
So this is a close-up of some of that live ammunition.
And can you tell us what color primers?
Brittany, I'll make a
the
note
live
about a
ammunition from
Control F
PDQ
yourself
Props
hoodie.
has?
Sure.
This ammunition that we're looking at now had brass.
Okay. And that's, is that different than the live rounds that were found on set?
Yes.
Did you bring another piece of physical evidence with you at my request?
Yes, I did.
If you can help me.
So I saw some asking yesterday, why is the witness bringing the evidence? The witness had it in chain of custody. That's not uncommon with law enforcement witnesses, that they are the ones that transport the evidence from the evidence locker to the trial because they're in the chain of custody. Prosecutors don't keep evidence in their offices or shouldn't. They don't have evidence lockers where they can lock stuff up. They are not part of the chain of custody because the prosecutor can't get up and sit on the stand and say, I got this from here and took it there. So this is a law enforcement witness in the chain of custody. I got this evidence from this person. I brought this evidence here to court today. These are my initials. We saw a ton of that in the Murdaugh trial, especially with the one witness that marked all the weapons that they recovered during the search warrant and all that stuff. It's, this is how I recovered it. This is how I marked it. This is where it was locked up. This is how it's here in court, so that the jury has confidence, one would hope, that what was taken from the scene and what is showing up in court are the same thing, in the same general condition. And if they're not in the same condition, they will tell you that they're not in the same condition. Like, oh, we've taken this apart and you can see how we've taken it apart. But it's so that you know what is taken from a crime scene and what ends up in court are the same, and who touched them in that period of time. It's very important to the chain of custody. If the chain of custody is not, if it's broken, if there are chinks in the chain, if there's a break in the chain, you know, then the defense attorneys are going to jump up and down with glee and clap their hands and be like, this is fucked, you can't do this. Nicole said, I just want to say how much I love being here watching the trials with you. I love live trials too. Aaron Evans, question, is it always the last person in the chain who does the foundation at trial? Generally, yes, but not always. It just depends. It can be the person. It's hard when it's the person that collected it, because they collected it and gave it to who, and how did it get back to court? So generally, yes. Sometimes it can be, I'm going to let her talk. Sometimes the last person in the chain of custody is a forensic examiner, a scientist, a criminologist. Question, do we know if PDQ Props was ever investigated for charges? We do know that.
79.
The defense says they were not investigated. They were not charged.
Remind us what State's Exhibit
I'm going to pause this real quick.
79 is.
No, I'm not going to pause
This
it.
was a live round that was deconstructed by the FBI.
Okay.
Where did this live round come from?
If I can see the
Live rounds are
label
important to
on it,
me.
Apologize.
So PDQ was not charged.
So this live round.
The gunpowder inside the live rounds at PDQ and on set are not the same. They did a full chemical analysis. We'll get into that when the FBI witness comes in. And I think that's why there weren't charges for PDQ, but I still have questions.
Originated from the box that was handed to Lieutenant Benavides.
So we'll hear a lot about PDQ armor
and
prop.
that's the box that just has the one live round in it that we looked at the photo of?
Yes, with the silver primer.
Oh, I'm not connected anymore. Okay. And that
Tory
would have been
Baldwin will not
State's
testify.
Exhibit
He's a witness in his
64.
own case. He has a Fifth Amendment right. They cannot call him to testify.
And
Mia, PDQ is the
what
prop
you brought
house.
me today, State's
Emily, are you
Exhibit
drinking iced tea? No.
91.
I am drinking iced coffee with cold foam,
Try to get
cold
it.
brew.
Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This was
Let me
Kate, thank you.
get up for just a second.
Love your comment on how young the first officer on scene was. I was a 19-year-old EMT on my first
This was
fatality.
a
Felt like
round
the general public
collected from
doesn't know how young
PDQ
some of us are.
that was
Kate,
then sent to the
an
FBI,
excellent point.
and the FBI deconstructed it.
I did very limited EMT work.
What
I
was
was
the purpose
maybe
behind
20?
sending the live rounds from the set and the live rounds from PDQ to the FBI?
They did an analysis of the gunpowder components in both rounds.
Okay, great. So what we just saw in State's Exhibit 79, this is similar. Do you agree? It has a casing and a projectile and a container of gunpowder.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep grabbing questions and answering them when we have breaks. There's great questions in the chat. Y'all are not only hydrated, you take care of your skin,
Can you see the gunpowder
But you're also
that,
real
that I
smart
zoomed in on there?
and funny.
Yes.
And does that look to be the same just visibly from just looking at it? Does that,
I'm not object to that.
Why?
I'm not quite sure what the way you're she's phrasing it.
Yes, it just, I guess
What's the objection?
it's okay. Sometimes it sounds leading to me, but it's okay. We just
If it sounds leading, then say leading, sir. He's like,
is this different
Meh.
than the other exhibit? The
it probably
gunpowder?
was leading.
Yes.
Okay,
but-
it looks different, right?
We need the grounds.
Thank you.
We need the grounds. Your Honor, I'm going to object because reasons. we need, generally, objections are objection and then the legal ground, not objection because feelings. There's not been a lot of objections in this case. There has been a lot of leading. Oftentimes, when you're doing foundational
for
stuff like that,
completeness,
no one will object to leading because they just want to get fucking through
You
it.
also have a large amount of blank rounds in evidence.
And the leading doesn't, it doesn't imply the
blank
answer
rounds
because
do
they're
you
just
have
trying to get through the
evidence?
numbers.
I would say probably close to 1,000.
Oh, 1,000 blank rounds is a
And-
lot.
Approximately how many gun belts do you have in evidence?
I believe 3.
And approximately how many guns do you have in evidence?
Around 15 or 16.
And those are real functioning firearms?
Yes.
I like how she distinguishes it, even though it's a prop gun, it's a real gun. So people don't think somehow it's a prop gun, it's a fake gun, a play gun, a gun that doesn't work. These are things used as
Bear
props
with me.
that are guns. Just like if you had a prop cell phone in a movie, it would probably be a working cell phone. I don't know. I'm not a prop person. Those of you who do props and costuming, let me know. It's like your prop belt in a movie is an actual belt. It's a prop because they're using it in a movie, but it doesn't mean it's not real.
Ask the
And
witness.
I like that she keeps doing that. Okay, we're now getting to cross-examination. We've made it, y'all. We've made it. We've made it. Woo! Logan, I saw your comment in the chat. Logan said, EDB, can you shout out Megan Toombs? We love listening to you. Megan, I feel like a late night DJ. Hey, Megan, how you doing? Logan would love to say hello. So here we are watching Trial from coast to coast.
Good morning, ma'am.
Some of you aren't old
Now, I want
enough.
to talk to you first about your training and your job and what you've been trained on as a crime scene technician.
Sure.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about your training?
Didn't she already do that?
Yes, I have my bachelor's degree in forensics. I've had over 1,000 additional hours of in-classroom training over various different forensic areas such as blood pattern analysis, latent print analysis.
Y'all, the way I wanted to be
crime
a
scene
radio
reconstruction,
DJ.
those kinds of areas.
The way I wanted to be
Okay,
a
and
radio
has
DJ.
that included firearm and ammunition training and
We
and
basically are.
determining the difference between types of ammunition?
Not that specific, no.
Okay, so what is the scope of your training you've had on determining different types of ammunition?
I mean, are you specifically referring to?
Calibers, 4440, 38, 45, you've been trained on recognizing the differences?
We'll talk about
That
the
I
Mary
have,
Kay
yes.
bag.
Okay, and how about recognizing the
It's a random
differences
way to hold
between
ammo.
dummy rounds, blanks, and live rounds?
I have not been to that type of training, no.
Okay, so your testimony earlier when you were talking about the dummy rounds and the various measurements and that, you have not been trained in that area.
You guys are making my
No.
day.
Okay. Now, part of your training in terms of verifying
Kimmy, I
that
kinda
a
do have a
round
face
is
for
either
radio.
a dummy
It's
or a
fine.
live round is you need to send that to the FBI lab for confirmation. Would you agree with that?
Yes,
Because some of the dummy rounds appear like live rounds. They look like live rounds, correct?
yes,
In fact, the round that came out of the box we saw earlier that did not shake, you sent that off to the FBI lab because you wanted to confirm what that was,
You
correct?
guys.
yes.
And part of the thing the
Thanks.
FBI does is they take apart the round and they determine if it has powder in it. Is that right?
Yes,
And when they do that, that tells them basically if it's a live round or a dummy. Do you agree with that?
yes,
So would you also agree in your training
Oh,
that
oh,
you've
this is a
never
great
been
question.
taught that you can
Eeyore.
eyeball
Hold on, where'd it go?
a dummy and determine if it's a dummy or a live, or eyeball a round and
On
determine if it's a dummy or
cross-examination, you are
live?
allowed to ask leading questions. That is
no, I've not
the
been trained
best
in
part
that
of
area.
cross-examination. So yes,
And you would
he's
also
allowed to
agree
lead
with me
all
that
he
you
wants.
can't look at a picture of a round and determine
Direct
necessarily
examination,
if it's a dummy
open
or
questions.
a live.
Cross-examination, leading questions.
I would disagree with that.
And why would you disagree?
The rounds that have holes drilled into the side of them or the primers removed
The board
appear
holes.
to visibly be dummy rounds.
And those do. Now, how about the rounds that don't shake, don't have a hole in them, and you're looking at that? You can't tell just by looking at it that's live or dummy, correct?
Correct.
And that's why you sent that one off to the lab again, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Monsieur
I want to show
Solitaire,
you what's been marked
welcome.
as defense I. Now, should
Jess said, not my boss calling me on my work phone, hearing EDB in the background and saying, I didn't realize you were on jury duty. I'll let you go. Like, I just snorted. Jess, you and your boss have made me snort this morning. I didn't realize you were on jury duty. I'll let you go. Jess, your boss is the best. That's amazing. They're approaching the witness to clarify something. I'm going to answer some questions. Wrestler X had questions. Since people keep calling this an accident, has it been considered if Hannah and or the handler may have been purposely aware that there was a live round, like maybe it was done on purpose? I think there's been speculation about that. There's no evidence of that. If there was evidence like that, the charge would be different. Hannah alleged in her civil lawsuit that she was being sabotaged by others, but if they had any evidence that this was purposely done, and that a live round purposely ended up on set, and that Alec Baldwin purposely aimed a gun and pulled it at someone knowing there was a live round in it, the charges would be very different. So I think it's been considered. It has to be considered, but there's no evidence that points it that way. And yesterday when we saw Hannah's real-time reaction, was giving full panic attack. Like she was just panicking. Why are there only charges for Helena and not for Joel? We'll talk about that again today.
Okay,
I went over it briefly yesterday, but we'll do it again.
Recognize this
Question,
photo.
is there a place where all trial rules, like leading questions, are written down? Yes, there are.
This is defense I.
The rules of evidence,
take
the
a
rules
look
of
at that.
procedure, but not, and there's tons of trial guides.
Ma'am, do you recognize
But
that
they
photo?
come from the rules of
I do
evidence.
not.
Okay.
My rules of evidence
and
are
so
back
you
there.
didn't take that photo.
I'll grab
No.
them later.
Okay. What is in that? I know we're not going to move to introduce it, but what is in this picture?
It appeared.
Hang on, I'm going to object. She's never seen the picture before.
What was the conference
She
happening? They're
didn't
talking
take
about
the
evidence.
picture. I don't think she can answer that question without it being completely speculative.
But what's the legal
And I'm
grounds?
just asking her to identify.
Speculation? Oh, we're doing talking
What
objections
is
now.
it? Not to go into detail, but what is it? Just for the record. It's a picture.
Like,
I'm just
Jason,
asking for.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bowles, since you're cross, can you just lead her in that question? And
I
then we
can,
don't get
sure.
out in
I just
the
wanted her to say it. Yeah, that's fine.
Do you know what
This
this
is a picture with rounds in it in a box?
Yes.
Okay. And if I could have that back.
Excuse, sir, you're on cross. Can you just ask your leading fucking questions so we can all be done with this, please? Please. Can't you
Okay,
just
ma'am, so
lead?
in terms of recognizing live versus dummy rounds,
today.
you would also agree with me that you have not been trained on the shininess of rounds and how that. You
I'm
can't
trained
tell
on all
if
things
a
shiny,
dummy or live
sir.
from their shininess,
How much are
right?
you going to say shiny?
Okay. And,
Sir, the chat's going to start singing I'm
yesterday there was
shiny.
some talk about patine or a patina.
Thank
on some
you.
of the rounds. Do you remember that? And actually, what that is just.
It only took a day,
oxidation
and we got to
on
the
the
correction
round
from
case,
patine to
correct?
patina.
Yes.
So, in other words, when a round sits around for long enough, oxygen interacts with the metal, and it's just going to turn a little color, correct?
Yes.
And because oxygen does that to the outside of a round, you don't know whether that it doesn't matter whether there's a patina as to whether it's live or a dummy.
God, we
correct?
got to patina.
Correct.
Because they have the same cases.
Never
Yes.
been so freaking happy to get
Now,
to patina.
with regard to the FBI,
I don't know how we
there
got
were
behind.
several
Oh, I
things that were sent
paused.
to the FBI. You testified yesterday for testing, correct?
I'm gonna
Yes.
speed you
And
up.
there was
till we're
DNA
back on real
testing
time.
requested on the revolver that was used by Mr. Baldwin, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that that was submitted?
Yes.
Now, yesterday you talked about somebody told you at the FBI that the live rounds could not be tested for DNA. You remember that?
Yes.
Who did you talk to specifically?
I don't recall who I specifically spoke to at the lab
Okay. Did you make that call?
to not send them.
No, did you make the call to the FBI personally?
Yes, I did, along with their representative for our area, who was Agent Cortez.
Cortez. Okay. Now, were you aware that we had requested those rounds, fingerprints and DNA be taken from them?
That you requested it?
Yes.
No.
Okay, you were never told that?
No.
Okay. And you're also aware that
These
those
are good
live rounds
questions.
were never tested for their fingerprints.
I was not aware of that. It was my understanding that they were tested for fingerprints.
Well, then you're not aware that I asked Detective Hancock to do that and it wasn't done? You're not aware of that?
Objection to the former question. He's asking her to speculate.
Well-
How would she know what he says to Detective
He's,
Hancock?
he's not asking her to speculate, but, she's.
She's
answering
answered.
the question about whether
It's
you are aware. I don't know if
asked and
it's-
answered
I think
is
you
the
can follow up
correct.
about
Asked and
why,
answered.
You know, what's the purpose of asking this witness about those things?
Yes. And yesterday you testified that these live rounds had been sent for fingerprints.
That was my understanding.
But that you didn't talk to Detective Hancock to see that she didn't do that?
It's my understanding that it got done.
So no.
Where's the report on that?
The FBI report on that?
Yes.
I would assume that the FBI would have it.
Okay. And are you familiar with that report?
You and the prosecutor and the FBI, everyone but me
Ziegler's
should have it.
report?
I am not.
Okay. So you haven't read that?
The FBI report on that?
Yes.
I would assume that the FBI would have it.
Okay.
That
And
is outside of my
are you
purview.
familiar
I like
with
his
that
style of
report?
cross too.
In Mr. Ziegler's report?
I am not.
Okay. So you haven't read that recently?
Not recently, no.
Okay. So you don't
Not
you
my
don't
job,
have first-hand
sir.
knowledge that those live rounds were tested for fingerprints, correct?
I thought they would.
Correct.
So you're just going on an assumption.
It
That's
was
what you understood.
the information that I had from the lab.
There's an
All right,
objection.
just wait, all right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I'm sorry to interrupt. He's setting things, okay.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
Something
Sorry
else is
to interrupt
happening.
no, sorry, Your Honor.
The
Okay,
other attorney distracted
so-
the judge.
Again, that was just what you thought, but it wasn't. Anyway, we'll get into that with Detective Hancock. Okay.
That sounds good. Ask
with regard
Hancock
to
about decocking the weapons.
your role
it's
as
going
a
to be
crime
great.
scene technician, you also took a series of photos at different scenes, correct?
Yes.
And that included the
Jennifer, there's a lot to this
church,
answer. I'm going to do it at
Yes.
questions.
and
It's a
that
great
included
question.
the prop truck,
Yes.
and that included Seth Kinney's business PDQ, correct?
Yes.
Okay. With regard to the prop truck, do you recall when that search warrant occurred?
For the prop truck
Yes.
took place on October 27th.
Okay. And when did the search of Seth Kinney's PDQ business take place?
November 30th.
And then the incident on set, the shooting on set, that occurred October 21st, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So October 21st, the prop truck is searched 6 days later, is that correct?
Yes.
And then Seth Kinney's place is not searched for over a month, correct?
Yes.
So during that month period, you have no idea whether Mr. Kinney disposed of rounds or got rid of rounds. You have no idea whether that happened.
No.
Okay. And
No, you have no
were
idea, or
aware
yes,
that
you have no idea.
Mr. Kinney had
You have no
received
idea,
rounds
no.
from the
So
set
do
of
you have an
Yellowstone
idea?
1883?
Yes.
Because one of those things inside his shop said live 1883, correct?
Yes.
Now, that, as I understand, that was empty at the time of the search warrant, correct?
No.
That canister was not empty?
The box marked live ammo 1883 is the only area we
Seth
found
Kinney
live rounds.
is from the Prop House PDQ Arm and Prop, who provided the
Did
weapons
he
and
not
the ammo
have
to
any other
set.
live rounds in that shop?
There's more than that, but
I don't believe so, no.
Because there were, and we'll show pictures in a little bit, but there were tons of ammunition boxes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Michelle,
So,
my 15-year-old
did you
was
search all of those boxes?
home yesterday when I was telling Judge Abby the same
Did you
thing, and he
look
was like,
into all those
Mom,
boxes?
seriously.
I believe so, yes.
Every one of them.
I can't be certain.
Okay. Because there's a lot of them. You remember
Yes.
that? Yeah. Did you, in fact, just take Seth Kinney's word on what was live and what was not?
No, I know that boxes were dug through and it was a time-consuming process.
Now, you didn't seize all of the rounds from that 1883 can, did you?
I collected the live rounds that were in the box marked 1883 that were 45 Colt.
Did you get all,
Wait, did
the
they-
45 rounds from that?
Did they come from Yellowstone 1883? Is that where those rounds came from? Those are the rounds he was talking about that came off the 1883 movie yesterday.
That canister?
Yes, all of the 45 rounds.
That helps. What was mixed in there? Ha.
And did you ask him whether he had gotten rid of some of the rounds or used some of the rounds prior to you all getting there for the search?
I did not interview Seth Kenny.
Okay. So you don't know the answer to that?
No.
Okay.
Not her job.
Now, earlier, you showed a
Yes,
picture
TV show
of the Mary
movie.
Kay bag. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes.
And there was a box inside it with blue writing that we saw. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And it said something like dummy rounds L 45 LC.
Yes.
And you know that that's Seth Kenny's box, correct?
Yes, I know.
Okay. And that box was found in the prop truck?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're not aware whether.
Well,
Sarah
she's not aware,
Zachary
then what's
may
the
have taken
relevance of this question?
anything from the prop cart to the prop truck, or are you?
I do not know.
Okay. So if she had removed anything from the prop cart and taken it to the prop truck, you would not know that.
Blue
Is that
coffee
what you're
cancer
telling
girl, I
Jerry?
apologize on top of
Correct.
Nightbot. Nightbot is
So
not at
Seth
coffee
Kenny's
today.
box, you have
We'll
no
work on
idea
it.
whether that was on the prop cart, but it was moved to the prop truck, do you?
No.
Now, are you aware that you responded to the scene at the time of the shooting, right? Right after the shooting.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get there after?
It
After
took
what?
me several
After
minutes.
the call?
We had a meeting in our criminal investigations division first before we all headed out to the scene.
How long did it take you
After
after
the
those
call.
several minutes to get to the scene?
I do not recall.
Okay. Was it 30 minutes? Was it an hour?
She doesn't
How
know.
long was the drive?
Was I would say
Where's the
30
log?
minutes at most.
Okay. You got there, were you aware that other sheriffs had gotten there?
Yes.
At what time, how long after, if you know, did those sheriffs report after the shooting? How long did it take for them to get there?
I do not know.
Go get the log. This is not her job. The
At the
point he's
time
trying
you
to
got
make
there,
is
did you
people
see
could have fucked with the
whether
evidence.
Mr. Baldwin was segregated in a vehicle?
And that's a fair point to
I
make.
don't recall.
But she's not
Did
the
you
one.
see that Miss Gutierrez
answer those
was, though?
questions.
Did you s-
Yes, I recall her being in a vehicle.
Do you recall seeing Alec Baldwin talking on his cell phone and just walking around?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay. You haven't seen any pictures like that or video or anything like that?
Smurfana Kevin Bacon did a movie
in
with Alec Baldwin in
following days
1988
in
called
media,
She's Having a Baby.
Yes.
There's that
I've
one
seen him
degree.
on the phone in photos.
So you're aware now, you can tell the jury he was not segregated.
I do not know.
Okay.
She doesn't know.
Well,
Wrong witness.
with regard to
I get why they
your
do
work
it.
on set that day, you took
But also-
pictures when you responded to the shooting. Did you do any interviews, anything like that?
No, I do not interview.
Her job.
Okay. And your job at that time as a crime scene technician is to secure the scene, secure the evidence. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Part of your goal in securing the evidence is to make sure that you get it right, you get the chain of custody right, and you make sure that's logged. Is that right?
Yes.
Why is the chain of custody so important?
The chain of custody is essentially the tracking of where the item originated from to who has possession of it now and everything in between.
Okay, and if there is a break in the chain of custody, that's a problem for you in terms of verifying that evidence, correct?
Yes.
Now, if
Maria, if you're
Before
on
you
real
got
time, this is
there-
the defense attorney.
Miss Zachary had thrown rounds away,
This is the defense
and
cross-examination.
she had taken items from the prop cart to the prop truck,
Of
that
the
could cause
crime
problems with the
scene
chain of custody,
technician.
correct?
Well, if someone were to remove evidence from a scene, it wouldn't just cause problems for chain of custody. It would cause problems because we no longer have that evidence.
It's not. It
Correct.
never
In
goes
fact,
into the chain
if
of
you
custody.
don't have the evidence, it's lost. That's a serious problem in a case like this, correct?
Yes.
And this is a death investigation. So
It wasn't
you
at the
would
time.
Ideally,
At
want
that time,
all
it
of
wasn't.
the evidence that might be relevant.
It was a
for jury
shooting
to see
investigation
later,
at that
correct?
time.
Yes.
Now, are you aware here that Miss Zachary actually threw those rounds away?
That's beyond my scope of knowledge.
Okay. And again,
No.
we're talking about those getting thrown away. But now let's talk about if items were taken from that prop cart to the prop truck before you got there, would you agree that breaks the chain of custody? It disturbs the scene. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So in other words, when you
Amy,
get
not
there and you
much.
take pictures of the
Truly.
prop cart, you wouldn't know if
Not
that's how
much.
it looked at the time of
Tell
the
your
shooting,
husband
would
hi.
you?
No.
And we saw a picture of those boxes that went into Deputy Benavides' truck. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Now,
The defense is leaning in
later
towards
on, I
the
know you put them back
sloppy
in the cart
investigation
to take
issues.
pictures, correct?
Yes.
So, and I know you weren't intending to do something, but when you placed them back, you have no idea if that was where they were before.
That was not the reasoning behind placing them into the scene.
I understand, and I'm not trying to say your reasoning a certain way. I'm just saying that you did not know when you placed them back for a picture that that's exactly where they were before.
Correct.
So when the jury looks at a picture of the prop cart now,
Good
they don't
questions.
know if that's where those were at the time of the shooting. And that's not your fault. I'm just saying that that's a fact, correct?
Correct.
good
And,
questions. Good
in
questions.
terms of evidence, when you're trying to, as a crime scene technician, you don't want
Wolfgang, I'm going to
people,
get
for
to this at a
example, to
break.
reach
It's a
across
great
the
question. It's
crime scene
strategy.
tape and either grab evidence or put evidence on a cart, correct?
Correct.
Now, similarly, you would not want
His crosses
as a
have been
crime
quite
scene
good.
technician
They're not
for
dramatic,
an officer
They're
to handle
methodical.
a weapon with his bare hand.
but he's
That wouldn't
trying.
be ideal, would it?
No.
His job
And
is
in
to
fact,
introduce
you're trying
doubt.
to get DNA later and fingerprints, but did you see the
And if you make them doubt the
camera of
photos-
the deputy Benavides that handled that weapon with his bare hand?
Yes.
Okay, and again, that's not ideal, is it?
No.
A lot in this crime scene wasn't ideal,
in
sir.
terms of-
We're gonna give you that.
In terms of that, those rounds, you talked about the box,
Christy, yes.
and you talked about different boxes they were found in that day, correct?
Yes.
Now, you have no idea whether Ms.
DOG
Zachary
Allison, I get
or
that a
Ms.
lot.
Gutierrez Reed used those rounds on a day and then put them back in a different box, do you?
No.
So if you, for example, if these rounds were used the day before and they were changed out into a different box, you would have no way of knowing that, would you?
No.
So in other words, when we just went
He might
through
be
a
our
direct
shining star attorney of this
examination,
trial.
that these
We'll
rounds
see.
came from this box and these rounds came from that box, you really have no idea where those rounds originated from, which box, do you?
My statements for where they originated at that time.
Yes, so that was just that day. But my question is, you do not
It's a
know if 3
good
days
question.
before these rounds were in that box and these rounds were in that box. Is that
Good.
fair?
Yes.
He's trying to point out to the jury that she can only say these rounds came from this box when she recovered them from evidence, because the prosecution's going to try to say that Hannah brought the live rounds on set, and the defense is going to try to say they came from Seth Kinney at PDQ Arm and Prop. So he's saying, so when you mark in evidence, these rounds came from this box, that's just that day. You don't know where else they came from. It's a great, great question. And I really like the way he goes through. He doesn't seem like he's trying to have a gotcha moment. But he's having them. He's just trying to let the jury understand that not everything's as you see it, right? The things on the cart, she put them back down and then took a picture of them. So a picture wasn't taken before they were moved. And that is his whole theory. Stuff was moved before they even got there to secure the crime scene. And that's on Sarah Zachary, not on Hannah Gutierrez Reed. So how can you trust the evidence? He's doing a great job. This is Mr. Bowles. His partner is Mr. Bouillon. That's why we call them bowls of bouillon. It's a soupy kind of trial. I'm going to keep going.
No, and I'm not.
I'm going to speed him up a little to catch up for my soliloquy.
Well, when you say that the boxes were handed to Benavides, isn't it true that actually he just grabbed those boxes?
I do not know.
Okay, so when you said they were handed to him, you really didn't know that.
No, that was the information that I was given.
Okay, but again, the lapel cam, everybody can watch it and see it, but for example,
No, not
it doesn't look
balls.
like anybody handed it.
Bowls.
But you haven't seen
I'll just object to the form of question. She's indicated that I don't think she knows.
it? No, you're right. No, she's right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'll move
Look,
forward on
Mouse,
that.
that's fair.
Now,
Live rounds
I do
shouldn't have
want
been
to
on
show you
set.
some pictures that
Fair.
we're going to label, and I think by stipulation that we would ask these to be introduced.
I'm always going to point
If
out
it's
when I
possible
think
with
lawyers
Mr.
are doing
Bowling.
things well, though.
Jay through
Because I definitely point out when I think they're doing things not well. So I feel like it balances out when I get critical.
Dan is an acid judge.
Summer, this is a New Mexico defense attorney.
Do you have any objection?
I don't have direction, as long as.
Mikhail,
they are
yes.
certain that these are photos
It's
that-
methodical and it's good. Bowls of bulls? I thought it was bowls and bouillon. It's bowls and bouillon. The one with the beard is bouillon. The one with the glasses and the shiny head is bowls. All right, I'm gonna get to some questions while they're all taking a minute. Actually, I'm gonna zoom till we're on live because I paused for a minute.
All right, if the state isn't objecting.
Quite a few, Judge. It'll be much faster to do it this way.
All right, if the state isn't objecting.
When you say it'll be faster to do it this way, everyone should immediately
There's
yes.
5 sets of photos.
Oh.
Immediately yes. They're approaching the witness to show her photos. We're gonna answer no, we're not. We're gonna speed up. All right. Are we back on real time? I think that's, yes we are.
J through N is admitted series of photos. You may publish.
Kayan
Thank you,
said,
Hannah.
EDB, I'm
We'll
here
try to
and sick. Your
do
tech
it
support,
quickly.
not tech support, was so gracious Wednesday, waiting until 12 p.m. EST to do all the things. I can pass that after. Yes, the member exclusive merch is launching at 11 a.m. this morning, so
Okay,
about
if we
20
can
minutes
start
from
with
now.
the photos
And that is
from
the
Seth
limited matte
Kenny
black
business,
Lawner tumblers that
PDQ props.
members will be in your member spaces. So for those of you that are members and watching, you guys are going to have all the reminders.
Mr. Bowles, are you intending to admit every single photo there?
Yes.
Yes, but we don't want to show them all.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we're just going to kind of.
no problem.
Okay.
Why is the prosecutor approaching the witness too? They were talking about evidence, so they all approach in case there's objections.
Yes, all of these photos.
Okay. And again, this is from the search warrant of Seth Kenny's business in
Yep.
November? Okay.
Yes.
Now I want to say, just quickly, what is this shot?
This is the back alley entrance into the building.
Of Sir?
Next?
No, not the
that
back alley of Sir.
Same alley entrance.
Okay.
Oh, these are the photos from PDQ Arm and Prop. These are one of the civil lawsuits. It's a fucking mess. It's a mess. So not the back alley at Sir, the back alley at PDQ Arm and Prop.
Next?
That same alley entrance.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you say on the record which exhibit?
It's J.
This is the court reporter being like, excuse me, can you please
When
keep
you
the
switch
record
to K,
clear?
let us know.
Yes.
When you switch to K, let us know.
Yeah.
You can't get those pictures any bigger, just out of curiosity? I mean, it's up to you, but.
Yes, can we make those a little bigger, Mr. Williams?
The judge is like,
Zoom in.
sir, can you please make them larger?
Okay. And ma'am, did you say what that one was?
This is another
For those of you
angle
confused
from
about
that
which
back
alley we were in, my brain
Okay,
goes to the
next.
alley of Sir when we're talking about alleys. So
Again, a different angle from the back alley.
thank you.
The
back alley of Sir is also a mess, yes.
Now, is this how this looked? Okay, this one too.
These stress
This is
me
how
out.
this looked when you went in?
Yes,
Does that appear to be disorganized?
yes,
And again, this one is very disorganized?
yes.
Okay. Next
Cindy
one.
Y, thank you for the gift of memberships. These are all in the civil
What is
lawsuit. I've
this
gone over
picture?
these photos.
This is facing the entrance.
This
from
is the
where we
prop
came
house.
in.
That
Again, there's stuff
bandolier
everywhere.
is
You
loaded
agree
with
that?
bullets.
Okay. And
I don't know
that's
if they're
the-
live or not, but the bandoliers are loaded. Like there's like
Okay, what
fake
is
grenades
that
all
one?
over the place. It's
I believe this was a
wild.
look into a closet.
Okay, and is there pizza
Pizza?
boxes there?
Yes.
Did you know if he lived here too? Seth
Wait,
Kenny?
is that iced
I do
tea
not.
on top
Okay.
of the pizza?
You go to the next.
Next to the cleaning supplies?
All right, and
Wait, go back to all the guns.
is that the one, Mr. Billion, with the rounds? If you can show that. Okay, what are these we're seeing?
These were boxes and boxes of ammunition.
of bullets.
And this is what I was kind of mentioning earlier. There was a lot of these, correct?
Yes.
Whoa, stop
And
flipping so
and there was
fast.
other places where these were. Okay, here are these more boxes.
That looks like the
Yes.
same.
And are these all different kinds of ammunition?
There's bags of ammo.
I believe so, yes.
And again, I think you said you couldn't recall whether you all went through all those boxes.
No, I could not recall.
Okay, and keep going.
Wait, Mr.
And we're
Bullion.
flipping kind of quickly, but what is this?
Yeah,
this
y'all are flipping
machine?
kind of quickly.
I believe this was a vice that was sitting on a counter.
Okay. Okay. And then more ammo boxes.
Yes.
Now zoom in on this. Did you see any of them with the JS
Yes.
Like this
And
one?
you know, that's a fairly common box. Have you seen that in
Do you know
Seth
if
Kinney's
that's a
business as
fairly
well?
common box?
Yes.
Now, these ammo boxes in general, you're aware, aren't
He
you,
asked
that
too
they
many
can be
questions in
purchased
that
off the
question.
internet for 25 or 10 bucks.
That's a big difference
I
in price.
don't know that. so.
Okay. I mean, but these are standard little white boxes. They're all over the place. Are you aware of that?
That they're standard white boxes? Yes.
Okay. And I mean, you're familiar with these, aren't you, in your job? You
With-
see these type of boxes?
I see ammo boxes, not necessarily
Dummy boxes.
all white ones with certain stamps on them.
Okay. Well, how often do you see JS?
How often do you deal with movie sets?
Not a lot.
Okay. But you do see them from time to time.
Not that I recall.
Okay. Well, there's a lot there.
Well, yes, in this case, there were a lot of JS boxes, but in my 7 years crime scene tech, I haven't seen a lot of JS boxes.
Because
Do you know what JS is?
No.
Okay.
just
Okay,
saying.
next one. And again, we got 32 Smith & Wesson, 22. These are more ammo, right?
Are these relevant?
Yes.
Okay, next.
More-
Again, the JS. Is that the JS there?
Yes.
Okay. If you can move forward. Okay, and what are these?
These are spent casings.
Do you see the primer, how it's dented?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the significance of that?
That means that this round has been fired, so a firing pin has created that indent in this casing.
She said that
Are you aware that
They were spent.
there's a thing where a primer can be slightly dented, and then if it was struck again, it could go off? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Sir,
if
what?
a hammer hits a primer and it doesn't strike it hard enough, it can create a small indentation or dent in that,
I'm gonna
correct?
object. I think this is pretty far outside her scope of expertise.
She's
And
the
we've got
crime
plenty
scene
of
tech.
witnesses who can answer
Sure,
these
we
questions.
do.
She's not a weapons.
Okay, we do. Okay. If you can move to the next picture.
I
Mr.
like that
Williams.
he kind of just moves on. He's like, yeah, that's fine. You're right.
And then again, what are just if you give the jury just an idea of what these are? Is that more ammo?
Yes.
Okay. And again, that's and that one in particular was just in a gray tub.
Yes.
Okay.
Sandra
And the
D,
next
thank
one.
you for the gift of memberships. Oh,
What-
sweetie, no in the
and
chat
what
said
are
I've
some
never
of
seen
these
a prop house
pictures?
that looked anything like this.
This was the front room.
I don't know how
area.
you'd find anything. Like, how do you
Again,
find
is that
anything?
more ammo boxes in this particular picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, Jessica.
Okay, and again, is that a JS notation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can move forward, please, Mr. Bullion.
There's a bike in there. Is it a prop
Okay,
bike?
when you go back one,
It's being
is
snarky.
that a gun belt?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks
go
like it's
forward.
got stuff in it.
And again, more ammo?
Yes.
Okay. We've seen enough of those, unless you have anything in particular, but that's...
Seth Kinney from
we
PDQ
get
Arm
the
and Prop was
flavor of
charged
those.
with
If you can
nothing.
move to the church pictures.
Is that K now?
There's a couple that are different.
Okay, go ahead. Put those up.
Yeah, the organization is wild.
We're still in jail.
The judge is clarifying which set
Okay,
of
what is this
photos they
picture?
are in for the
This
evidence
was
numbers
a
for the
box that was
record.
located marked live ammo 1883.
And again, that was what we talked about earlier?
Yes.
That's, okay. And what is this one?
This is an overview of where that box was located.
Okay. And finally,
This
what
is why
what
they're
this
showing
one?
all the prop house
This
stuff
is
because
what
you're
was
like,
inside of that box.
how is she even
Okay,
to know
there's,
what's in this box? This is
several
such a
in
mess.
that,
That's why they're
live
showing
ammo.
all
There's
this.
several boxes here, correct?
Yes.
What is that? What were those that said lead?
I don't recall.
Okay, you don't recall what was inside those?
No.
Okay. They're labeled various types. Did you go through all those?
Yes.
But you can't tell the jury today what was in them?
I don't
Spicy
recall what
vet
was in them. I
med
only
geek.
collected 45 live rounds out of this box.
Hannah Gutierrez
Okay,
was
here's
supposed to have a
45 LC.
supervisor
Is
in
that
Seth
right?
Kinney
Yes.
from PDQ
What are
Arm and
those
Prop, but
loose
he was not
rounds
on
around
set.
it?
He
Those
was
were, I
like
believe
a
some of them were live
supervising
45
armor,
rounds.
but he was never on set.
Okay, were those collected?
Yes.
Okay. And how about these?
This was a close-up of what was in that box marked 45 LC.
Okay.
Lynn Meeker, Seth Kinney is responsible for the prop house. He will be testifying at some point.
And you know what is in this picture?
This was a
Empty.
green ammunition box that was
It's
located.
an empty ordnance box.
And these appear to be more dummy rounds. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, if we can move to K.
I'm going to answer questions while they are moving. Sarah asked a great question. The drug bag. How is it tampering with evidence if it wasn't evidence? Sarah, the defense argued this in their last motions.
J,
The
which is K.
narcotics is evidence of
Yeah,
her
Sharon, we
possessing
need to
possessing
go back and make
narcotics,
sure that
but
that's
it's not
not
evidence
We'll do
with
that.
regard to the involuntary manslaughter, though the prosecution argued that if she had cocaine on the movie
Well-
set, that it
Well,
is related
we're
to
finding
this.
that. I have a couple
So
more questions.
that's why it's connected.
The round you talked about in government or states 49
But we did cover that
earlier,
in motions
It had
coverage.
ball bearings in it that didn't shake or apparently were stuck inside. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And that was the one you sent off to the FBI lab.
Yes.
So that would have been a round
Thanks,
potentially
Jen.
on set that didn't rattle.
Yes.
Shay Michael,
And that
good to see you. Thank you for the gift of memberships. Wait, what's going on? You're supposed to pass a Post-it note.
so that would have been a round potentially on set that did not
She
rattle.
had something to say.
Correct?
The other attorney whose name
But-
we don't know.
You had to send that off to the FBI lab for confirmation to determine that, correct?
Yes.
And that's not something either Miss Zachary or Miss Gutierrez Reed had the luxury of on the set, did they?
No.
Okay. We also heard yesterday Miss Morrissey shook a round into the microphone. You remember that?
Yes.
How did
And
that
asked
go
everybody if
again?
they could hear it.
Yes.
Again, that's not something Miss Zachary or Miss Gutierrez Reed had the luxury of on set, did they?
Counsel, you do not internet enough.
Of having a microphone so they can rattle it and have everybody hear on the microphone.
I can't
No, they didn't have a
unsee.
microphone then.
Okay.
I can't
Okay. You have the
unsee.
church pictures ready?
I can't unsee.
Can we put those up?
Sorry,
Now,
y'all.
can you just quickly tell us kind of what we're looking at here? Is this David Halls?
I don't know who the individual in the back is. I was taking a photograph of the back of Mr. Baldwin.
Okay, so earlier, did you tell me you didn't see Mr. Baldwin?
This was the only interaction I had with him.
You
was
asked her.
photographing what he was wearing and then taking the clothing that he.
You
had
asked her
on.
if she
Okay,
saw
well, then you
Baldwin
knew
walking
when
around.
You photographed him. He wasn't segregated in a car.
Well, when I
that
photographed him,
time-
he wasn't. I have no idea what he was doing before or after that.
Well, right then
I'll
he's
be right back. I'm
standing
going to
outside.
try to rearrange
How
the
long did
screen
you
a
see
little
him?
bit. Give me a sec.
My interaction with him was probably less than 10 minutes.
Your Honor, she's indicated that she has no idea whether he was segregated or not, and we have plenty of other witnesses that can reasonably answer this question.
That's okay, he can ask that question and I
And
think
then
he
I'll
got
move
the
forward.
answer.
Yes, and I'll move forward after that. Okay, so ma'am, what is this?
The objection
This
is
is the
asked and
outside of
answered,
the church.
counsel.
Okay. And this one?
Another angle of what's outside the church.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to try
Do
to
you know
move.
what the card is that we
Trying to
just
make this
saw?
screen bigger so that you guys can see the pictures a little bit better.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. The card that's in the photo now.
Yeah, just we
Hold
went by it.
on
If you
one
could go,
second.
you
There
know,
we
the other
go.
way.
There we go. Is that better, you guys?
This one.
Do we like this
That was
better?
one of multiple equipment carts that was located outside.
I'm going to make me small while the
And
photos
these
are
equipment
big.
Cards were these. So these were on set.
Do we like this better?
Productions cards when you got there.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. And what is that? That big structure in the back of that photo?
Are you talking about
why
the
are the
small structure, or
photos
are you
so
talking about the white
bluish?
structure?
The white structure.
I believe that was the.
It's probably the
prop truck.
computer
Okay.
screen they're
Do
showing
you
it
see
from.
that
Or
appears to
somebody
be
doesn't know
outside
how to
of the
wipe
crime
balance the
scene
camera.
too?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, and these are more photos of the church. Is that right?
Another.
Yes.
I need another
Okay.
monitor.
What is that?
Streamer problems.
Prop truck, search warrant.
Oh, the prop truck. Okay, can we put those up? And this prop truck search was just, October 27th, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Prop truck.
Mr. Golding, what is the letter on these?
This one is M.
M is in Mary.
Okay, just a minute. Did we finish K and L or?
Yes.
That great big geek said, doesn't
Alright,
it
so we
feel
went
like the
into
prop
K.
master
You didn't tell us when we went
bought
into
ammo
L.
that was mixed and the seller told
I
her to
apologize, Your
heat
Honor, all the
all the
church
ammo on
photos were
set?
L.
Seems very
We just
cover
saw.
uppy.
All right, let's make sure that when you send them to the
As to
jury,
Sarah
you
Zachary,
have
yes, and
proper
that's what the
mark.
defense is
Okay.
going
Yes,
to
Your
argue.
Honor.
Thank you. All
Yes.
right, M.
Okay, this is M as in Mary, this series. Now, what is this here?
This is the outside of the prop truck.
Okay. And move, if you can. This is the exterior and side of the truck.
Yes.
Okay.
There, I think that works well.
And what is this picture of?
This is the side door entrance into the truck.
Okay.
Hello, Fiddle Lynn.
And this is the interior?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you guys for gifting memberships. It's always great to have new
Okay,
members.
and this is a gun belt in the
Tell them
interior of that truck?
what members only
Yes.
streams to
Okay.
go watch for all our new members today.
And this is the
Let them know in the
interior?
chat what stream you would
Yes.
suggest.
Okay. Okay, and this is a gun belt in the interior of that truck?
Yes.
Trying to pull up
Okay.
my chat on my iPad.
And what are these? We're seeing now that
so I can
we're
leave the
zooming
screen
in.
like this. I think it'll work
This
well.
in particular is a 45 LC ammo box.
Can you also approach for a moment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why the fuck are we still doing this, counsel? Do we know who the lady beside Hannah is? It's somebody on her legal team. I don't know if it's one of her other lawyers, one of the research attorneys, research paralegals. It could, I don't know the name of the woman beside her, but it's somebody on the defense legal team. So I can look at the firm website at some point and figure it out. Stacy said, so EDB, tell me how anyone outside of that prop house can be charged when clearly anyone that entered the prop house could have put live rounds in any of the boxes. And the prop house wasn't charged. It was Hannah's job to check every single round that went into every single prop gun, prop belt, prop holster. That was her job. So they are relying on whether or not she was reckless and negligent in doing her job. Well, that Seth Kinney guy also is responsible for some negligence or not. He has not been criminally charged, but he has also been civilly sued. While they are at the bench, we are going to take a moment. This sidebar looks like it's going to be a moment. So we're going to take a moment for our sponsor. I promise you will not miss a minute in court. Thank you to our sponsor, Mistplay. A huge thank you to today's sponsor, Mistplay. Mistplay is a loyalty app for casual mobile gaming. So if you are looking to discover new mobile games and get rewarded while you play, download Mistplay today. Not only are you going to find merge games like Merge Garden, but you're also going to find adventure games, card games like Solitaire, which I absolutely love to play. There's just something so satisfying about playing Solitaire when all the cards just go where they're supposed to go. Call me basic, but I love a good game of Solitaire. And while you earn points playing games in Mistplay, you can redeem those points for gift cards to places like Starbucks and Sephora and more. Over $100 million in gift cards have already been redeemed. And in Mistplay, there are tasks that you can complete while you're gaming to earn more rewards. And the more you play, the more you earn. It makes your mobile gaming time a little more productive because you're earning rewards while you do it. You know, for me, that my rewards points are going towards my Starbucks habit. You'll get 200 bonus points for signing up today. Plus, use my code LawNerd50 inside the app for an additional 50 points. That will help towards redeeming your first gift card. See the description for all of the details and head to mistplay.com/lawnerd or click the link in the description below to download Mistplay for free today. Go to mistplay.com/lawnerd or click the link in the description. Let's get back to today's episode. You guys, it's so much fun to see how many of you already use Mistplay in the chat. So for those of you that check the link, check it out. We're going to get back to court real quick, but here's the thing. Guess what court's about to do? They're about to take their morning break.
Don't talk among yourselves or anyone else.
I told
about
you
the
you wouldn't
evidence
miss
received
anything.
Here in court. Thank you.
Emily, your timing was flawless. Flawless victory. That never happens, which means we're going to get to do a little bit of Q&A, which is fantastic. For those of you asking regionally, I believe Mistplay is US because it does require some game tracking that isn't available in all regions. So for those of you who have used it and loved it, awesome. It is a lot of fun to try out. So if the link is not working, we will reach out to them. They promised us that it was. So Cheryl, Ray, thank you. We will make a note that the link is not working.
Seated. As a reminder, you all need to have your badges. That's, Barry Massey and Beth Wojan went to a lot of trouble to prepare them.
She's yelling at the media.
And you need them when you come in here.
You need your badges.
Thank you.
So some of you are saying that you play Mistplay in the UK. That's fantastic. There we go.
You don't need me. I'm gonna go.
Badges. We need badges. Fluffy Lover 261. We don't have closed captioning on the live feed, though you should be able to put closed captioning on your device and do it on your device. Our mods are saying that the link for Mistplay is working, so it might be a device issue. But let's get to your questions. I'm gonna move my screen real quick so I have double chat so it's easier for me to see y'all real quick. I'm messing with my stream layout. Much like my office layout, I am never, never satisfied with how my layout is. I'm always like, I could do one more thing better, but I also have limited space. So I'm like, I need more screens. I need more screens so that I can monitor the chat in different ways. But I think I'm going to work on that when Court comes back today. Right now, I'm going to work on getting us to some Q&A and making sure that we know when Court comes back from break. So I need to keep an eye on that and keep that up. So thank you guys as I rearrange things so that we can bring you every single minute of Court. The one thing I do want to remind you, if you're downloading apps at the moment, there is a free app, lawnardapp.com, that will keep you in the loop with when I'm streaming. It is so we can notify you. It is our notification system, if you will. All right, now that that is set and fixed, members, you will see that you are going to get your link in the member spaces at 11 a.m. And let us get to the morning summary and Q&A real quick. Let's do that. It's morning break in the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial. She is the armorer on the set of Rust. And so far, we are going over the crime scene technician who went and recovered all of the ammo from all over the place, all of the ammo that was on the prop cart, in the prop truck, in the Mary Kay bag on the prop cart. And we first saw pictures of PDQ arm and prop, which if you're a law nerd, you've seen in other places because we've covered them in the civil lawsuit. The disarray at PDQ arm and prop is substantial, and the defense on cross-examination is, I think, trying to lean into that chaos that it's not Hannah's fault. They brought all this stuff from this crazy disorganized prop house onto set. What was she to do? The prosecution's answer to that is going to be check all of the rounds so that she knows if they're live or not. Like, check all of the rounds. So it'll be real interesting after seeing those pictures what the cross-examination of Seth Kinney is like, because I can't wait. And with that, let's get into your question. I see Rob in the chat. Hello, Law and Lumber. Good to see you. Rob is saying, today shall be a marathon of live streams. Yes, I'm streaming, and then I think Runkle's doing a summary. Then you've got Friday night fuck around. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Eloella's trial. I think both attorneys are doing well. Morrissey is solid in court, better than the motions. She's funny in court. She's a little snarky. She's got a little edge, but she's funny. I really like how Mr. Bowles does his cross-examination. That's been really, it's really nice to see that kind of methodical and measured cross-examination. He's really scoring points, but it's never like this big gotcha moment, which is really nice because when you are going for that gotcha moment, it can make witnesses feel more defensive. CEG, kind of Camille Vasquez's cross-examination at the end, after there was the big gotcha moment, then from there you could see the defensiveness. There's no need to make this law enforcement witness defensive. You just need to get the answers you need so you can argue them down the road. Absolutely fantastic. Jessica said, where can I find the Tumblr? It will be in your member spaces. If you're a member here on YouTube, it'll be a community post on the community tab of YouTube. Samanu Gupta, I hope I pronounced that properly. I mean, we just had Linda's Clam last night in the members only. We do. If you are a new member, there's also the Ringo versus Ringo lawsuit there. I believe my ASMR reading of the Constitution is there in the member spaces. So there's lots of things that you can find. Seth Kinney was supervisor. He should be charged as well. Tina, I am frustrated that Seth Kinney was not charged. I am frustrated that Dave Hall's got a sweetheart plea deal. Frustrated. Irish Aiden said gifted 10 EDB memberships. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Melanie, how in the world could anyone find anything in that mess? Talk about an episode of Hoarders. I don't know how anybody finds anything in that mess. It's quite a lot. Elena said, I used what if any in an email today and I hated myself a little bit, but it was the best phrasing for the posed question at the time. Okay, look, sometimes we have to say what if any. Sometimes it's just the language that we need. It is. No shade. Sometimes we just need it. Margaret in the chat asked, why are the bad acts of others an excuse for her or anyone else's bad behavior? Margaret, I definitely don't think the bad acts of others is anyone's excuse for behavior. Here's how the defense is going to use it. The defense is going to try to say some other dude did it. Somebody else is responsible. They were more negligent. She couldn't be negligent because she could not do her job. And that's really what it's going to be. She could not be negligent because everyone else fucked up so much that she was unable to do her job. However, her job was to take each round out of the gun and see if it was live or not. So at the end of the day, everyone else messing up might be yeah, fuck all of them, charge everybody. Everybody sucks. I'm glad they got fined by OSHA. But also, if she had done her job, we wouldn't be here. So that's how the defense is going to use it. But at the end of the day, had she done her job without recklessness and negligence, had she done her job that way, this would not have happened because she would have stopped it because she would have found the live rounds. And that's going to be the argument here. Nicholas said, I'm late, but live rounds found in dummy ammo boxes are bad news for the defense. Yeah, it's is this the negligence in her doing her job that we're seeing? Yes. And, she said in her police interview, I should have checked better. And the whole case is going to come down to that. And I think at the end of the day, we might end up with a lot of empathy for Hannah Gutierrez, but also you had one job and she didn't have one job. She had multiple jobs on set, but also you had one job. Your job was to make sure no live bullets were on the set. It's awful to think that this could happen, but it obviously happened. So how did it happen? And if the prop house is that much of a mess, then Seth Kinney's prop house disaster show means that Hannah's job was even more important. All right, let's keep going. Hey, Emily from Northern Ireland, do you think Hannah Gutierrez will testify? Emma, I'm going to wait and see how much of her police interview they use, and then I will answer that question. We are too early to answer that question. EDB, do I just need my Lawnard shop to get my cup? Mike, no, there is a link in your member spaces to get the tumbler. So there is a link in the member spaces. Link it or copy and paste it, but that is where the link is. Wait, a box mark live rounds looked like it. I'm loading 45 long Colt tonight and have loaded 1,000 of these. These reloads are horrible and made an extremely unsafe workshop. Just wow. April and Jack, that is a fantastic insight. And yes, we've heard from Hannah Gutierrez that the rounds were wonky when she was trying to load them. And that's why she loaded 5 before lunch and 1 after lunch, because the rounds were wonky. So the rounds were also wonky. This is a low budget film, and it looks like the production team, including Baldwin, were cutting costs in the things that they were doing. Question: if Hannah is found not guilty, do you think that verdict could impact Baldwin's case? No, I don't. Baldwin's case is very different than the case here. He's a producer and he's an actor. And at the end of the day, I've said that a lot today, But Baldwin had a gun in his hand, pointed at center mass at a human, and pulled the trigger. So his case is a lot different. If she's found not guilty, it'll be interesting to see how it's not even going to be relevant. Like the outcome in another case isn't going to come in to Baldwin's case. They're not going to know about it. But I think it might bolster Baldwin's attorneys being like, yeah, we have a chance here, but also he's the one that pulled the trigger, and that's a whole different situation. So that's my thoughts on it. Others might have different thoughts on it, but that's my thoughts on it. I thought they were saying Seth Kenny this whole time. Seth Kinney, I think is where we're at. So that's funny. So let's see. The safety issues on set were appalling. They got fined by OSHA. This set got fined by OSHA, the largest fine that OSHA has ever fined in New Mexico. Shiraz said, look at it this way. Would you take a job as an EMT if you had no experience and weren't allowed to learn anything? No. And as an EMT, you definitely learn, and then you get experience and you work with other people with experience, but not always as much experience as you would think. Truly. Ella said, how did the live rounds get onto set in the first place? This is the question of the trial. This is what I want to know. The defense is going to argue that the rounds got onto trial by the rounds got onto trial. The rounds got onto set because of Seth Kinney. And the prosecution is going to argue that they came onto set because of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, or because Theo Reed, Hannah's father, had worked Yellowstone 1883 with Seth Kinney, and they had like a mixed drum of ammo, and somehow that's the ammo that got onto set. So that's that. So love watching court with you, Shelly. Thank you. I love watching court with you too. Question: if she gets a guilty verdict, wouldn't that make Baldwin's defense a lot easier? Same question, same answer. No. Kate said, I want to know why the fuck ammo was stored in a Mary Kay bag. Grew up with guns and carry myself and was always taught to store firearms, any ammo, and other supplies clearly and safely, and a makeup bag ain't it, sis. Kate, yeah, I don't know. When you take a look at the prop cart, you are just struck with how disorganized it is. But we are late into the shooting of this film by the time that this happened. This is a independent, low budget movie, and we have emails. I feel like I'm narrating the Titanic. They have iceberg warnings, and the captain is ordering full steam ahead to get into port early. Like, I feel like that's where we're at. It was the end of filming the movie. The film crew, the camera crew had walked off due to safety issue. There had been multiple accidental discharges of the weapons in the weeks leading up to set. We have emails from the armorer to production saying she doesn't have enough time because she only had 8 days of armorer work during the entire shooting of this film, and she had run out of armorer time because she gets paid different than when she's doing costume and props time. And she was emailing them saying, I don't have enough time to do my armorer duties, which might be why the thing is in such disarray, because she doesn't have enough work time to actually clean it up and to take care of it. So that's all running up to Hannah on the film set with alleged cocaine in her pocket, not checking bullets after lunch, and somebody getting shot. That's where we're at. But it feels like we're narrating it going, this is running up to disaster. Let's see. According to the emails from Hannah's boss, she had no more armorer days left, if that's the reason the case. She was just the props person. Yep. So she was the armorer. The question jumped. So she was the armorer the whole time, among other tasks. Yes, but they gave her 8 days to do armorer duties. So when they weren't paying her as the armorer, she was supposed to just do props. Question: did this movie get finished being made after this? They started filming again, but I don't know if it got finished. But they started filming again. Madeline asked EDB, why didn't the state take fingerprints of the ammo? I have a lot of questions about that. I want to know. That's strange to me. Also, I have so many questions. I do too. It might have been that so many people were touching it, they thought that it wouldn't help, but they should have tried. The fired ammo, I don't think you can get fingerprints off of once it's been fired, but they could have tried some of it. Will any of the camera crew that walked off be testifying? I don't know. There's a lot of people on the witness list, but the people in the church will be testifying. We will see Seth Kinney and Sarah Zachary, the head of props, and Dave Halls. Dave Hall's testimony is the testimony I want to see. Like, that's the testimony I'm waiting to see. Sarah Zachary, Seth Kinney, Dave Halls. Those are the top 3 witnesses I want to see. And the police interview of Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Miss Jersey said that prop house was a serious mess. Who could find anything in there? I don't know. I don't know. Do the emails of her asking for help her? I think so, if they come in. They were mentioned in opening statement, so we're going to see some of that, at least in the defense case. I don't know if they help her, because at the end of the day, production's not listening to her, but that doesn't stop her from doing her job. I don't know if it will get there. The defense is going to argue she didn't even have any armorer days left. She's not actually the armorer right now. Like, she's doing her best and it's on them. But a lot of jurors, I think, are going to be like you, going, but you had the job to check the things and you didn't check them. And you said to police, I should have checked them more. So I don't care what you were telling production. I don't care what production was doing. Fuck all them too. But you had literally one job. So what are we going to do? And that's where I think we're going to end up with all of this. Question, wait. If Hannah ran out of armor time and she was only the prop person, that means the producer didn't have any armor on site, not her job. And we'll see what the defense argues. Because, yeah. You have to have an armorer on site. Brandy Rose said, I know it wouldn't happen in this case, but I'm curious, when you were practicing, how common was it that the defense didn't present a case at trial and immediately rested? All the time. It was more common than having defense witnesses. Normally you would get a vigorous cross-examination and no defense witnesses, sometimes a few defense witnesses, but it was more common than the defense having a bunch of witnesses. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Allie. Welcome to all our new members. Teresa said, I've been an EMT for 25 years and my heart goes out to all the law enforcement officers that had the task of keeping that chaos under control. Yeah, it was an absolute mess. I had a case that I was trying where officers were on the scene of a fairly large vehicular collision, a multi-car vehicular collision, and fire is trying to work on people. There were very few law enforcement on scene. And as fire and paramedics are trying to extract people from vehicles and work on people, family members of one of the families in the car rushed at fire personnel and attacked fire personnel who was working on their loved one. And there just weren't enough law enforcement on scene. And there were lawsuits between the departments and a criminal trial for the person who attacked and injured one of the fire personnel. I believe it was a paramedic. It was just, the scene had so much going on, and there were 2 police officers that were trying to handle it, but they, under the stress of the moment, the paramedic ended up getting fairly injured, and it just sucked all the way around. Smoke Signal said, what the fuck? She's not obligated to be the armorer for free. Agreed with you. Dave McKenzie, is what if any Darryl Brooks, would that be fair to say? Darryl Brooks was a grounds. At the end of the day, you're another day older. Fair enough. Ang said, why are there no charges for the other guy who was also shot? Ang, I've been wanting to come back to this. A number of you have asked me this. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. We're going to touch on it again today. So in this case, we had the injury to the fatal injury to Helena Hutchins. It was a through and through shooting. It went in kind of one side of her body, out the other side of her body, and then hit the person behind her. So the director, Joel Souza, who's also on the witness list, was hit, and the bullet went and lodged in his arm shoulder area. And that's how they knew, part of how they knew it was a live round, other than the damage inflicted, but they recovered that bullet out of him and have it. But you've got involuntary manslaughter, so you can't accidentally, assault in this way. So they did not choose to charge him under the assault laws in New Mexico. And I think it would feel like a bit of a stretch to try to make this an assault, because what their theory is really with Baldwin is that he was reckless and he didn't check the weapon, but he didn't think the weapon would shoot a bullet at anybody. So that's where we are with that. That's why there's no charges for him. It would be a lot of a stretch. And the armorer didn't take that action. The armorer's negligence is not checking the bullets, and that caused the death of someone, but you don't have the same laws when it comes to assault. And we don't have any, like, the volitional answer is difficult with Baldwin because there's no evidence to show that he knew that there was a live round in there. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm late, but oh my, the chaos I have arrived to. Today is wild. So the assault laws are a bit different. The mens rea on assault laws are different. Laura said, even if she double and triple checked, if not all dummy rounds aren't shaken, how can you be 100% sure a dummy isn't alive? You can't. She never shook them. So she didn't. And Brew City Dane in the chat kind of put the pin on it. A lot of controls failed for this accident to happen. Yes, absolutely. Hannah Gutierrez Reed failed in doing her job. Dave Halls took the weapon and failed in doing his job. And they're going to argue that Alec Baldwin failed in doing his job in a couple ways, because he shouldn't have ever pointed a gun at someone in the first place. He shouldn't have ever pulled the trigger, and he should have checked the weapon. The defense on that is going to argue that Alec Baldwin's job was not to check the weapon, and in fact, he shouldn't have checked the weapon, and that it's all Hannah Gutierrez Reed's fault. So that's where we're going to go. Chris said, with more experience, she would have known to push back at the vendor to clean up the inventory, but the bottom line, she accepted the responsibility. And I think we might see the jury end up there at the end of the day. Yes, all these other people suck too, but she had a job. Moral said, in general, I wish there were laws to protect workers from unrealistic job expectations. I've seen a lot of companies expect a lot from employees without setting them up for success in their role. Morel, I absolutely get it. I don't know why Hannah Gutierrez Reed wasn't part of the union. There are quite a lot of unions in Hollywood that are supposed to actually deal with this, but she was not a union armorer, and I don't know which union they fall under, if it's IATSE or one of the other ones. I just ordered the new Law Nerd tumbler. Thanks, Emily. You are welcome. If no armor, then why guns present and available? Because Dave Halls, the first AD, took the gun and said it was fine? Impatiently waiting for the spice from the hearings. Jen, it's funny because trial attorneys sometimes are spicier in hearing, but not in front of the jury, because the jury doesn't always like that. So we got a little of it today, but the attorneys seem to be kind of getting along with some of the little bit of jousting that goes on as trial attorneys. Question, is it just me? How can the prosecutor claim it's one person to blame when OSHA is proof that it was a cluster from the top down? The prosecution is charging multiple people, but they are also charging Hannah, and they are saying, in this, Hannah is to blame for this involuntary manslaughter because she didn't do her job. There are also other people to blame, but it's not a civil case and the blame doesn't get apportioned. Multiple people can be blamed for the same instances. Lady Hethy said, if the defense is pointing a finger at Alec Baldwin, do you think the prosecution would borrow some of the arguments? We'll see. I mean, when the prosecution does point their finger at Alec Baldwin, the defense is going to point it back at Seth Kenney, Dave Halls, and Hannah Gutierrez Reed. So it's a lot of this. It's a lot of that. Why ask questions he knows she doesn't know the answer to? Wolfgang's human, so I have not worked as a defense attorney. But I have cross-examined a fair share of witnesses. And sometimes it's to show what they didn't do in their job. And sometimes it's to show that they don't know everything, right? So this witness doesn't know everything. Nobody knows everything. And sometimes it's to put doubt in. It's like, oh, well, why didn't you do that? It's to raise those questions. So the defense knows this isn't her job and knows she doesn't know. But if you don't ask the question, you don't know what answer it might be. And you never know. You never know when a witness will have an answer that will help your case, but you also never know when a witness will have an answer that will hurt your case. Like, you just don't know. And that's why, I mean, I had a defense attorney on cross-examination ask a officer about, it was something about a piece of furniture. And he was like, well, you don't know this and this and that. He's like, actually, I'm a carpenter. And these are the types of things I build. And he went into this whole long thing. And the defense attorney's face was like, shit. Because what he didn't expect was for this cop to have not just a hobby, but a whole other like side profession in carpentry. And it was absolutely hilarious. So sometimes you don't know what you'll find. Sometimes you'll find a witness that didn't put something in their reports and they're like, oh no, in this report, I think it said this, and it opens up a whole nother door of questions. So sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get, but it doesn't always work. Chat, no, it wasn't Rob. Last I checked, Rob never worked in law enforcement in Southern California, but you never know. Because when you ask officers, like, what's their training and experience, they talk about their law enforcement training and experience, but they don't talk about whether they do jujitsu or taekwondo or whether they have a past life as a carpenter. They don't ever talk about that. So you just never know. I'm going to keep getting to your super chats and questions. Emily Ippolito said, I feel like this is an unjust prosecution based on them not charging Seth and the AD getting nothing, but the jury won't know that. So feel like guilty becomes more of an option. Emily, we're going to keep asking questions, and then we're going to, because I don't think Hannah Gutierrez Reed is free from blame here. But I think there's other people who need to also be blamed. And I really want to see when we get to the end of the trial how we feel about that and how we feel. But if they didn't charge the armorer, wouldn't we all be sitting here going, okay, but it's literally the armorer's job to make sure that these bullets don't end up in the gun. Like, you have to charge the armorer, you have to charge the first AD. I hate his plea deal. And you have to charge Baldwin. I thought they would charge Seth Kinney from the prop house. The first time I covered this case, I said, I can see charges for the prop house, the armorer, the first AD, and Baldwin in that order. So that's how I saw it. And we answered this question earlier. Ann Bell said, Runkle explained last night that Hannah Gutierrez should have taken the firearms and left the set if the set wasn't safe. It's part of the armorer job. I don't disagree with Runkle. I will just also say that there's a lot of considerations to leaving a set in a low budget picture. And there's a lot of, when you are newer in your career, I can understand how that decision gets difficult. This was her second movie. Baldwin is Baldwin. Her dad is a legacy in the industry. You have to worry about, or you might worry about, his reputation. She's also a Nepo baby. There's a lot of things that go into her not choosing to make the call to walk off of set, even though the camera crew walked off. The camera crew had the backing of their union when they walked off. She probably should have been a union armorer, but wasn't. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but she would have ended her career doing that. And so that makes it, I think there's a lot of considerations there. Should she have probably done that? Yes. Is that an easy decision to make? Not at all. And I have definitely seen staff in the film industry get pushed well beyond what they're supposed to be doing. It is Hollywood can be a toxic work environment. We're going to leave it at that. I don't think that's new information. Lily, thank you very much. Mannix said, pretty please, can you make more Bring the Jury merch? How about Green Audacity merch? We will think about it. We will always take your merch suggestions. We keep note of them. The mods are so incredible. You guys give the mods some love in the chat. The mods are so incredible, but the mods help when they see those comments. They gather them for me, so we kind of have a running list of what the law nerds are asking for. Sarah said, for the purpose of this trial, the only but I couldn't that helps is I couldn't make them listen without fearing for my job. Still doesn't help her career. At that point, her job was to quit and take the guns with her. Sarah Gould, I completely understand. I do. I think it's hard. And Would a more experienced armorer have done that? Probably. Any good, where did this go? It jumped and now I can't read. Any good actor should check the prop weapon. Remember what happened to Brandon Lee on the set of The Crow. Actors should check the weapons, but they are going to bring in different experts that talk about whether or not the actor should have checked the weapon when we get to Baldwin's trial, not in this trial. I don't think it's relevant in this trial. Thank you, Law Nerds, for all the love. This is the longest morning break ever. Hold on. We need to put on our StreamYard music. Like, my brain is just from trial. We're just going too much. We need our StreamYard music. Let's see. What are we going to do? Probably this one. We're going to do our kind of, this is too much. Too much, Emily. The Rock is too much. We're gonna just putter along with background music. Thanks to StreamYard, who I love working with. They're my streaming service. Tina KS Launer, thank you for the gifted memberships. Chat, you'll let me know if the background music's too loud. Creek, good to see you. Thank you. Good to see all the members. I'm going to try to get to questions. Members, I'll pull up your stuff while we're talking in trial, but I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. Question, could Hannah be called to testify in Baldwin's case if her case is over by then? It depends on what happens on her case, because her case will go up on appeal if she's convicted. If she's not convicted, if Hannah Gutierrez Reed is acquitted of being negligent and the defense for Baldwin is going to be pointing the figure at her, it would be very interesting if she came in and testified. I don't know if she'd want to, but she could. Like, she could, because there would be no harm to her at all if she's acquitted. If she's convicted, no. That would be so interesting. I'm switching music. Can you tell? Some days the ADHD is more than other days. Today, my brain is just like, D. Truggo, why didn't Hannah Gutierrez Reed speak to her dad about the issues? He's a veteran armorer and would advise, I hope. I don't know. And we might see some of that. I don't know. Question, I know it's a different trial, but wasn't Baldwin a producer on set? Yes. If so, doesn't that give him more responsibility than just an actor? I have questions. I think so. Chris said, question, has the prosecution shown that all the rounds suspected of being live rounds were actually live rounds? Not yet. I don't think. They've gone through the person who has gathered the rounds, but they have not gone through with the FBI that tested everything yet. So we're not there yet. Gifted 5 EDB memberships. Thank you, Gossip. The gossip, the rumors, the nastiness. No, thank you, Gossip, Rumors, and Innuendo. Court sounds like it's going to be starting. I'm going to try to zoom. We're going to have to kill the music. We're going to zoom to court. Emily, music. Kill the music. Thank you, StreamYard, for the music. EDB, can I suggest a layout of you in a circle bubble? You can suggest it. I don't think I can circle bubble on StreamYard. So I've been doing this one. I'm going to switch over. I've got to get my chat up on another screen. I think that's the way I'm going to want to do this for the rest of this trial. So let's do that. I like her manicure. I think that works really well, having it full screen, but then I need to pull my YouTube chat up elsewhere, because I look at my YouTube chat in both StreamYard. This is more information than you need in both StreamYard, but I also like to see it real time on YouTube because it's easier for my brain to process. So. Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Bowles.
okay.
We've heard you great this whole trial, Mr. Bowles.
Help me.
Thanks to the News Nation feed. It's been fucking fantastic.
Ask permission at this point to publish exhibit in the N series, and I'll be labeling as we go.
In the N as in Nancy series?
N as in Nancy series.
Can Hannah's possession and CYA disposing of cocaine be her downfall? Maybe.
Label each of them.
It looks like she's hiding
so
something.
What happened to the M's? Because we just started with the M's, and then I interrupted you. So
We're down with that judge.
I like this judge's demeanor so
all right,
much.
I understand.
I like her
And those
so
will
much.
be labeled as well,
Okay.
Your Honor. Yeah.
Also, chat, don't worry.
Okay, ma'am, can you see
If our
that,
tumblers do not
photo
sell out,
which
we
is
will be
in
releasing
as in
them
Nancy
publicly
Vaughn?
to everyone. We
Yeah.
will keep you posted on
Can't see
that.
it?
No. There's nothing on my screen.
Oh, okay.
That looks like a belt. I'm going to be triggered if you're talking about Jensen Eccles. I have very, very fond feelings.
Okay. And if you could please tell the jury what that is.
This was a gun belt that was
My husband
located
knows.
in the prop truck.
Okay.
We watched
and
Supernatural
N2.
together.
A different angle of that gun belt.
Okay, and how about N3?
This is a close-up of some of the rounds that were in that belt.
There's a lot of
Okay,
them with
and
that
Do
silver.
you see different types of rounds in that belt in terms of the head stamps?
I
They're
believe
Interesting.
in this case, in this photo, they all look the same.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to show
Stephanie,
you
in your
N4,
members,
and what is that?
in your members
That's
community
that same
tab.
photo, but a little clearer. It's not as blurry.
Okay. And are those primers? What color are those primers?
Those are silver.
Okay. And how about N5?
Mel, we'll talk about this at questions.
This is a different area of the gun belt close-up.
And it has, I see 45 Colt rounds. Is that correct?
I did not partner with
Yes.
And some
Starbucks,
silver
but we
primers.
used the same
Yes.
manufacturer.
Now, were any of these on N5 determined to be live?
No.
Okay. So these
Ray,
are
not
dummy
until he's
rounds with
feeling
silver
better, but he's been on
primers.
some of the members-only
Yes.
streams, but
How
not
about N6?
in the near future.
This is a different angle of that gun belt.
Okay. N7?
A different angle of that gun belt.
And is that the same with N8?
Yes.
Okay. And what is N9?
This is a close-up of the brand marking that was on the belt.
And what is N10?
I believe these were the rounds
Hey,
that were in the
Maria.
belt that were removed from
Thank you for that input.
And
She
they all
seems like a
have that,
character,
what you called yesterday.
and we
that
stand George.
patina?
So it's good to know. Good
yes,
to see
that
you.
darkening on the casing.
Okay.
A
And how
lot of
about
Supernatural
N11?
fans in the Law Nerd community.
This is those same rounds with the Spain Denix round removed.
The Spain Denix round was the round that didn't shake.
Parker, it's
correct.
ADHD.
Okay. And N12?
This is a close-up of the silver primer on those rounds.
Okay. How about N13?
Christina,
This was
yes.
a box of ammunition that was
Christina
taken
says,
from the
so
prop
they are
shop.
saying there
Okay.
were
N14?
possibly
A
live
close-up of
rounds
some of
on the
the writing
Yellowstone
on that
1883
box.
set if the rounds were Theo Reed's.
N15?
I'm going to pause because this was, Christina, this was an excellent question. And I think, A, the rest of this is going to be boring, and B, we need a minute to answer this. What they said yesterday is that not only were there possibly live rounds on the set of Yellowstone 1883, there were live rounds because the armorer on that set, Theo Reed, Hannah Gutierrez's, I believe, stepfather, took all of the actors to the range to shoot live rounds so that they could mimic the shooting action, because you can't mimic the kick of a weapon or how you will move when you're actually shooting if you have not actually shot. So part of their training was to go to the range with guns and shoot live rounds so that they could better act shooting live rounds. So it was part of their training. So there were live rounds on the set of Yellowstone 1883 in that they went and trained. They should not have been mixed in. They should not have been physically brought to set. They should have been kept separate. But yes, there were rounds used on the set of 1883, if that makes sense.
Those boxes removed
Back to
from
boxes.
the cardboard box.
All right. And N16,
At
is
1.25.
that just one of the boxes?
Yes.
Okay. N17, what is the significance of that photo?
This was the writing on the outside of that box.
And that has the JS also?
Yes.
Chat, you guys are the
And what is
best.
N18?
This is the styrofoam insert removed from that box.
N19?
A close-up of a different cardboard box with ammunition from the prop truck.
Okay, what is N20?
This is an overall of the Mary Kay bag from the prop truck
Okay, and again, we see in the middle of that Seth Kenny's box with the writing.
with the blue writing that states dummy rounds 45 LC.
Okay. Again, N21 appears to be a similar picture. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and N22, that is just another picture of a box?
Yes.
Okay. And N23?
That box with the styrofoam removed from it.
Okay. And what is N24?
These were items taken out of the Mary Kay bag and laid out.
Okay, what is that on the top left? What is that item?
Yeah, what is that? Chad?
My apologies. Your left?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have thought about that. It's on my left. It's as you're looking at it up on that screen, it's the top left. Right above the insert.
I believe it was a bracket of sorts that was bent.
Okay. And then on the far right top, is that just a cloth of some sort?
I believe that was one of the sock covers for the firearms.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks
and
like
can you
something
tell the jury about that? Did
as a
they
cover.
keep these firearms in a sock cover?
Some of the firearms were kept in sock covers, is what they were referred to as.
Okay. And are you familiar with those sock covers?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. I'm going to go on to N25. Again, is that the same kind of photo of the gun, sock, and then the other two items you have there?
Yes.
And what is the significance of the Q-tips?
They were in the bag, and I was documenting everything that was inside that bag.
Okay. How about N26? Again, we see an insert from a box.
Are
Is
the
that
Q?
right?
I imagine
Yes.
the Q-tips are for cleaning.
N27, what is that photo?
This is a close-up of the center of the Mary Kay bag.
Okay. N28 is just a picture of another box. Is that right?
Yes.
Any significance to this particular box?
I took photographs of every single box of ammunition before it was opened and then after it was opened.
Okay, ma'am, and that was from the prop truck? You did
Yes.
that? Okay. And N29, again, is that Seth Kennedy's box with the blue writing?
Yes.
Okay. N30, what is that photo?
This is the inside of that box and the rounds that were inside of it.
Okay. And these rounds have silver primers as well?
Yes.
It's a lot
I
of
think you
silver
indicated
primers.
16 were dummies?
They were all dummies.
All dummies.
Good.
One was suspected live.
One was unknown, which is why it was sent to the FBI.
Okay. That was
Good.
one that did shake.
Yes.
Questions.
And again,
So they're saying of all of these with the silver primers, one of them was live, showing that it's not just the silver primers that are live, because the defense is going to argue later when the prosecution is saying, look, all those silver primers have to be live. These are dummy rounds with silver primers. So how can you know? He's really doing an excellent job of using this foundational witness to lay the foundation for further arguments. It's a really good cross-examination. It's not as fiery as some that you've seen, but it's very, very good.
you don't know these rounds that are in this insert right now, you don't know if they were in there 5 days
He's
before
just setting up
October
his
21st.
arguments really
You
well.
have no way of knowing. N31, is that same picture?
Yes.
Okay. And N32?
These are those rounds removed from the foam and laid out for photographs.
Okay. And same thing on N33?
A close-up of the bottom of those rounds.
Okay. And N34?
Me in the
I
way.
believe this is a close-up of those rounds in the box.
Okay. And I have no further questions
We're
on those
down
exhibits.
here now.
And that's all the questions I have.
Oh, we're done. Redirect. I like his style. I really like his style a lot.
Do you want redirect?
Lewis, this is a great question. Good to see you in the chat, friend. It is the prosecution's case. We're on like their third witness, law enforcement witness. We're going to probably be in the prosecutor's case until mid next week. So, yes, we are in the prosecution's case. They've got a lot of witnesses on that witness list, and they seem to be going through the law enforcement witnesses, which means they will probably end with the civilian witnesses that were in the church. Seth Kinney from the Pop House, Sarah Zachary, the other people on the movie set. If they got to that this afternoon, I would freaking love it. I would strategize leaving the jury with some of those witnesses before they go into the weekend, but who knows?
Ms. Poppell, you were asked a series of
We are now in
questions about
redirect.
the search of PDQ props. So I'd like to ask you some questions about that. Hang on, let me get myself situated with my notes.
Great, you get yourself situated, ma'am. We're going to answer some questions. EDB, no one is addressing that the first chamber is supposed to be empty. Can you check safety rules for this? Mel, I have no idea if that is true or not. Runkle the Bailey is our resident lawn tube gun expert. So all of the on the revolver, there were 6 rounds in the 6 chambers. The helpful stranger said, my issue is becoming, with the evidence so far, that someone could have been going around and swapping dummy rounds with live rounds after Hannah Gutierrez rechecked to make sure no rounds were dummies. Yes. And helpful stranger, it was her job to keep everything locked
When you
up.
participated in the search of PDQ props, did law enforcement officers assist you?
Yes.
Sandra,
How many people?
the way
were
I've wanted a
present, if you
supernatural
recall, at the
tattoo,
search of that location?
because I am cringy
Myself,
and shoogy and
Detective
basic,
Hancock, and Sergeant Christopher Zook.
it still might happen.
And
I also kind of want a
it looked like
Doctor
there was
Who
a lot of
tattoo.
stuff in there. Is that right?
Yes.
Fandom tattoos.
But what's your understanding of what kind of business PDQ is?
A messy one.
That they provide props to movie sets.
Do they have to have props to provide props to movie sets?
Don't. Yes. And that would make sense.
Did the entire business appear to be full of movie props?
Yes.
Okay. And the live ammunition that you found was just that one box, is that right?
Yes.
And when I say the one box, the gray box that had boxes in
I get it, Vil.
Yes. Marked as 1883.
And it was
Oh my
marked
God,
clearly as
Chad.
live.
Yes.
And that was the only live ammunition you found there.
Yes.
And the
Chad, I love seeing
the
I
one
love
box,
seeing your
the
fandom
gray
tattoos and what
box that
fandom
had
tattoos you want.
boxes in it.
Yes.
You
Marked
guys
as
are my people
1883.
and I
And
love
it was
it.
marked clearly as live.
Yes.
And that was the only live ammunition you found there.
Yes.
And the
They're going through again what live ammo. They're summarizing all of the testimony for the jury. These are the
Mr. Bowles
highlights.
asked you and showed you some photos of
Okay, let me get my. I need my.
ammunition that was at PDQ
Shit.
that had the JS on the label. Do you recall that?
Can someone tell
Yes.
us what it means though?
Did you find any 45 long
What
Colt
is
dummies
JS?
when you were doing your search of PDQ props?
I don't recall.
Cat Mom, I
Would it
love
help
that.
you if you looked at your report?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you take a minute and look at your report?
Okay.
Did that refresh your memory?
Yes. There was at least a gun belt that had dummy ammunition in it.
Other than that gun belt, did you find any boxes of 45 long Colt dummies?
I believe so, yes.
You do?
There were,
You
know
do.
what, I apologize, it's not specified in my report. If
The way the prosecutor said "you do" indicated very strongly to this witness that that was not the correct answer. Do you remember that from your report? Yes. Oh, you do? She's like, wait, back up immediately. That's exactly what that was. That prosecutor's face is seriously.
there were
That's funny.
additional dummies specific to 45 long Colts located. Our intent was only to find live ammunition at that point.
That was the reason you were searching it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you find any boxes, if you recall, and if not, because it wasn't the focus of your search, that's fine, just tell us. Did you find any boxes of ammunition that match the one that's on your screen?
I don't recall.
If you were to, not that I'm going to ask you to do it now, don't worry. If you were to take some time and review all of the photos that you took at PDQ, do you think that would help you answer that question?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Great. Let's go through all the photos. And then let's get Emily logged into her chat on her iPad. We're going to finish doing my setup. We're going to take the pause to answer questions though.
And
Damn it.
it's my understanding, based on your cross-examination testimony,
Kylie
that
Baldwin was on his phone during the training.
in terms of the live
he
ammunition,
didn't
you
want to
only
do
collected
the
45
training with
caliber
the
ammunition.
armor.
Yes.
Was there other caliber live ammunition?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the 45 long Colt live ammunition that you collected, that we've looked at photos of, that's the only live ammunition that was there.
Yes.
Okay. You were asked some questions on cross-examination about, you wouldn't know if Sarah Zachary moved evidence from the prop cart to the prop truck. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
And let me
Yes.
ask you, do you know whether Ms. Gutierrez ever took anything out of the prop truck before it was searched?
No, I do not know.
Good question. Prop truck. However, the way that Hannah
Mr.
was acting
Bowles
on set,
asked you some questions about whether you've received
I'd be
any
surprised if
training
she did anything.
in, how to distinguish dummy rounds
Truly.
and blank rounds from
She
live
was
rounds.
so
Do you recall
distressed.
that?
Yes,
And you indicated you haven't received that training. Is that right?
correct.
So, in your experience, are movie set crime scenes very common?
No.
no.
Do you
We're now back to real time. Ugh. Don't make me refresh the stream. We've got to refresh the stream. That was me because I keep pausing it to talk about the things that I didn't want to talk over. Let's get back into this
And-
stream.
are you capable of measuring things?
Yes.
No.
So, without specific training, you are capable of measuring the 6mm projectile or the 4mm projectile because you can use a ruler, right?
Yes.
And you did that in this case.
Yes.
And
Ma'am, can you use a ruler? Is not where I thought this was
are
going.
you capable of distinguishing brass primers from silver primers?
Yes.
Are you capable of distinguishing different shaped projectiles?
Yes.
Based on your work on this case, how do you tell a dummy round from a live round?
In this case in particular, when a large amount of the dummy rounds, when shaken, would have a rattle to it instead of having gunpowder inside of it.
And so specifically, what about that tells you that they're dummies and not live ammunition?
Well, live ammunition has gunpowder inside of it, so you would not hear that kind of noise.
Because you don't have BBs in with the gunpowder.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. And the other dummy rounds, how were you able to distinguish them from the live rounds?
There were holes drilled through the sides of them.
I mean, this isn't rocket science, right?
Right.
This is pretty easy.
Yes.
That's a smart question from the prosecutor because she's trying to show again how easy it is to distinguish these rounds because the defense is trying to make it very difficult to distinguish the rounds. So that's part of it.
And you actually, just to be safe,
That's fair.
you sent some dummy rounds to the FBI, right?
Yes.
Did any of the dummy rounds
Chef, I think a
that you
log
sent
of what
to
was
the
purchased would be
FBI
helpful.
come back as live rounds?
No.
Miss Mia, she always sounds that way. Like that is her tone. This is her pleasant tone.
In terms of the dummy rounds that you have in evidence, how many dummy rounds don't rattle and don't have a hole in the side?
2.
Thank you. 2 out of how many?
250.
Huh. That's interesting. 2 out of 250 did not rattle. I mean, it only takes 1 to kill somebody, though, is the thing.
When you were at PDQ doing the search, is there a specific reason that you were only looking for 45 caliber rounds?
My understanding was that was
Thank you, Linda.
that was the restriction of the search warrant.
Thank you, Emma.
Based on your understanding of the investigation, why are 45 caliber rounds significant and others not significant?
Because all of the live rounds that were located on set were 45 rounds.
And to be clear,
Please.
let's talk for a moment about the live ammunition that you collected from PDQ. What color were the primers?
There were silver and brass primers collected from PDQ.
In terms of the live ammunition?
Yes.
And do you have photographs of the live ammunition that has silver primers?
Yes, I believe I do.
Okay. I may have to have you come back. We may talk about that. I don't want to hang us up today.
She's just saying the witness may be recalled because there's something else that's going to come up, which is interesting. But I'm glad that she's not hanging it up today, truly.
Did all of the
Because we need to move on.
live rounds that you collected from PDQ,
It might not matter.
Let me ask it this way. Did any of them look identical to the live rounds found on set?
No.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Okay.
Finished with this witness.
Oh, yes, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
oh, that's all right. Okay.
For
thank you.
today, subject to recall. All right, new witness. That's exciting stuff. We love a new
We'll call Christopher Zook.
witness. Christopher Zook is our next witness. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to keep trying to get logged into the chat on my iPad. I'll get this trial streaming setup set soon. Jennifer said, thanks for being my body double today. Jennifer, happy to help. It works for me too. I often have people on my team. I'm like, can we just get on a call and get the work I need to get done? That would be super helpful. John said, why were rounds in it if it was a mock scene or take? Cameras weren't rolling. They were lining up a scene. So why did it need to be loaded? John, it didn't need to be loaded. They were blocking out a scene. They shouldn't have even had a gun in the church. Why did they do that? I wonder if Baldwin insisted on it. That's pure speculation. Emily, good to see you.
For the record.
We need the
Christopher
Audacity
Zook.
computer sticker.
And Mr. Zook, how are you currently
Taken under
employed?
advisement.
I am currently retired.
And
Everybody,
Where
congratulations.
did you retire from?
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office.
And back on October 21st, 2021,
We could tell you were law
how
enforcement. Your
employed?
beard gave you
I
away.
was a sergeant for the Sheriff's Office in the Criminal Investigations Division.
And in that capacity, did you become involved in the investigation
Maria, not yet.
regarding the shooting on the movie set Rust?
I did.
I want to ask you
Nicole, they were
specific
blocking
questions.
out the
Did
scene.
you participate
They were
in a search
blocking it out for
I
the
did.
camera and the lighting.
and
They weren't filming.
were firearms located in the prop truck?
Yes.
Where were they located?
In a safe.
Were they removed from the safe?
Yes, by CST, or the criminal specialist, Poppell.
The lady that just
Yes,
left.
the one that just left, yeah. She was
Okay.
the one that unloaded or took him out of the safe.
And when she took them out of the safe, what'd she do with them?
So it was a large box truck that the safe was in, and I was standing outside of the box truck at the back of it, and she would take them out and put them on the bed of the floor of the truck at the opening of the back door, and then we would clear them and then take them into evidence.
Okay, so you were responsible for clearing the firearms.
Yes.
That was not Ms. Poppell's job.
No, well, there was a couple of us that was making sure that they were unloaded and
I'm gonna
cleared
turn
and all that
him
stuff.
up a
'Cause we didn't want
little.
a loaded firearm in our evidence locker.
Yeah.
And did you
That's
come
better.
across a lever action rifle?
I did.
And tell us about that.
I do not remember the make or model of it. It was a lever action rifle. The way I was unloading the lever actions, they were an old style gun. I did not know where the magazine or the tube was on that. So what I was doing is just going through the motion of the lever action and having the rounds eject.
Show us what you mean when you say going through the motion of a lever action.
understand,
for those of us
Natalie.
that don't know what that means.
Do you mind if I stand?
Sure.
Okay. So a lever action rifle.
I like the way he
it's
teaches.
right there by the trigger. There's just a little. Oh, it's a
Lever?
And you just
Lever?
rock it back and forth, and it will take it from the magazine and put it into the tube. And then when the when the round is spent,
Sir, if you
do it
say
again
load
and
too
eject
much, this
it, and
chat's
then
gonna
while
lose
you
their
come back, it
fucking
will
minds.
Reload another round. That makes sense?
You can't.
Yes.
You
So
can't say
you have
load
to do the
around this
action,
chat.
a lever action.
And when you're doing the lever action,
And by chat, I mean me.
do
I'm
the rounds
chat.
inside just
I'm also chat.
fly out?
They eject out. They're supposed to.
Okay. And that's what you were doing to unload it.
Yes.
Were you able to unload that gun?
No, not all the way. I believe I was able to unload at least a round or two, and then there was a round that was jammed.
And do
'Cause
you
it was the
know
wrong
what
round.
caliber of ammunition that lever action rifle took?
It was a 44-40.
And do you know why it was jammed?
Because the round that was in it was a 45, which is just like very slightly bigger.
Okay.
Didn't
It
that
was
happen
enough
in the
to
Murdaugh
jam
trial?
the
Yeah,
rifle.
that is correct.
Okay, all right.
The load jammed.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Not much from this witness. He
Sir,
was.
good morning.
Good morning, sir.
He's a chain
Yes,
of
sir,
custody
are you
witness.
familiar with those types of Henry rifles?
I'm not.
And so you're not aware that you don't have to lever that to extract the rounds?
I do now, but at the time I did not know that.
Okay, so now you're
Good
aware
answer.
that you don't have to work the lever to get those rounds out.
Correct. On the end of
It's like I know that now.
the tube or the magazine that I found out later on. We had our gun expert at the sheriff's office. His name is Deputy Steve Orr.
His name is
I
not
had
me.
him come into our ammunition room, which is
Not my job.
covered in cinder blocks. So if it did go off, people are safe. And he showed me actually at the end of the tube there was a part where you just twist and the rounds came out. So I know now, but at the
Okay.
time I did not.
Okay, so at the time you're
Not my
working the
job.
lever, but later you learn you can just twist that and they'll fall out.
Correct.
Okay. Now you knew after
If
the
this defense
gun
attorney keeps
expert got
saying
it out, it was a
okay,
dummy
he's going to get
round?
Mr. Mackey real
I-
quick.
I'm going to guess if I say yes or no on that one. So
Okay,
I'm
don't
not
guess.
gonna- yeah.
No, don't guess. So you weren't aware one way or another whether it was a dummy or another type of round?
No, I
like, I'll
handed
tell
it
you
off
who's
to our
kidding.
evidence technician, and she was going through all the rounds to see if they were dummies or not.
Okay, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Okay. That was a quick foundational witness.
Were you present?
Ma'am,
when
I said
Deputy
quick.
Orr was removing the ammunition from that gun?
Yes.
Did the 45 caliber round come out easily?
No, it was actually jammed in the barrel of the gun. So once Deputy Orr showed me, hey, this is how you do it, we were able to take a couple rounds out, and
Nice.
the round was big enough it would not eject out of the ejection port, so he actually had to manipulate the round down into the tube, and then it eventually came out of the tube. So it did still fit into the tube, the magazine, but not into the barrel itself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, so
Okay.
it was jammed in the barrel.
Yes.
Okay. So even when you were there with Orr and you were doing it the easy way, unloading it with his knowledge, that round still didn't want to come out.
No, we had to manipulate it to get it out.
Okay, thank you.
Chat.
Nothing further.
Your Honor, may I ask one more question so I don't have to recall them?
Jamie with all the questions said a jam load. A jammed load is a friend
Sir,
to
just
no
one
one.
last question. You know that when you levered it, that jammed the 45 round in the barrel?
Stop, counsel.
Yes. Yes. So there was,
This is not the motion
I
for
know there was at
levered
least 8
counsel.
rounds. I don't remember if there was more than that. I know there was at least 8 rounds. So when I chambered it, that round got ejected, and then that 45 round came from the tube and went to the barrel, and that's where I freaked out. I thought I damaged the gun.
Okay.
But once I started trying to get it out, it wasn't even grabbing to get it out or anything, so it did jam.
He
it.
couldn't
So
get out the jammed load
I
because
did
he
jam
wasn't
it, but
levering
the-
it
I was-
properly.
I guess assumed that all the rounds that were in it were the correct rounds.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're excused, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next witness.
The state calls Brian Litzinger.
Brian Litzinger. We're going to get through all the law enforcement witnesses, but I'm going to be 13. Because every time the defense attorney talks about the lever action, he kept just... Sir, I'm sure there's a better way, but we're amused, so we're not mad. We're not mad because we're amused. Paige said, if I know the rounds should rattle or have a hole in the side, that is the only rounds being used. If I grab one that did not shake or have a hole in the side, I wouldn't even take the risk, dummy or not. Yeah, Paige, I agree with you. Should have gotten put to the side or thrown away. Creek, thank you for the gifted memberships. Fun fact, 2 different color primers suggest 2 different brands of
Do you swear or
ammo.
affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have a seat talking to the microphone.
Go ahead and state your name, sir.
My name is Ryan Litzinger.
Ryan, I'm sorry. I thought it was Brian. I apologize.
Ryan, are you law enforcement? You don't have a beard.
Mr. Litzinger,
We're
how are you
confused.
currently employed?
I am employed as a videographer and editor with a production company in
Oh.
Albuquerque.
And
Not
tell
law
us
enforcement.
about that production company in Albuquerque. What do you do?
So we are, we outfit productions with
This is not in focus.
crew, camera, lighting, sound,
So we have a civilian witness. Interesting.
DPs,
What's a DP?
director of photography,
This will be interesting.
and
I hope.
we're also a rental house, so we also rent equipment,
Cameras.
Did you? I'm sorry.
crewing as well.
I wonder if
So,
he's
like,
part of the camera
staffing
crew that
different
walked off.
productions.
Okay, you help provide crew members.
Yes,
Okay.
to different productions, and like I said, also a rental house.
Okay. At any point in time, were you asked
We've
to
got
do
about
any
an
work
hour
on the
till they
set of
take a lunch
Rust?
break.
Yes.
What work were you asked to do?
So we were asked to, we were contracted to do duties of an EPK, which is stands for Electronic Press Kit.
Thank you
which
for
is
letting us know what
something
an
that a lot of,
EPK is.
A lot of productions have.
Give us more information. We don't know what an EPK is or why.
Okay, so
Thanks, meme, sweet tea.
basically there are days that are, reserved for behind the scenes, and there's also days that are reserved for cast interviews, and that together makes an EPK, and what the production company will do with that is up to them.
Okay, so specifically, what did you do on this film, and if you can tell us what dates you did it?
So October 13th, 2021 and October 15th, 2021, we shot behind the scenes footage and also captured production audio together. And we also conducted cast interviews.
Okay, and in terms of I'm not so interested in the interviews, but in terms of the behind the scenes footage, describe to us, what are you filming and why? Are you just filming?
So a lot of the time we try to get just the action. In between action and cut is when a lot of times, you'll see directors planning what they want to do next, talking to the actors, wardrobe changes, audio, tweaks, anything like that. And that's really important for, people that are interested in watching the making of, or, whoever kind of gets this footage, you know what I mean? That's interesting to them. So,
Behind the scenes footage is interesting.
Yeah, that's what happens on behind the scenes. We try to focus on, the DP, the director of photography, the director, and the actors. I mean, that's a lot of what we do.
So you're not actually filming clips for
He's
the
not
movie.
clearly in focus.
You are filming
Behind the scenes.
actors and the crew working on the movie set.
Yes. Sometimes, that's, yes, a majority of what we do is we film the actors and the crew on set working and doing their jobs. But sometimes we're at a place called Video Village, which is basically a setup where...
Tell us about that not existing the day of the
watch
shooting.
The scene that's being filmed. And we will sometimes shoot that. So it's just video of the actual movie being filmed. Sometimes we'll be there.
Understood. But even when you're filming in Video Village,
So there's
you're
this movie
filming
called
people working.
Yes, they're working as well.
Oh
yes.
God,
You're showing
my
the
brain just
director of
blanked on my
photography
analogy.
looking at the monitor and
Notting Hill.
and seeing what
And
is
Hugh
being
Grant goes to
filmed.
visit
Yes.
Okay,
Julia
understood.
Roberts on set, and he
I
sits
think
at like the
that
Video
some
Village
of this
area to
made more
watch
sense
her
a
on
little
set.
later on. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I was going to say if I'm not...
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Just for people who aren't familiar with what you do, because I'm not going to show the videos today. We're going to show them later in the trial. Did I subpoena videos from you?
Yes.
And did you provide me all of the videos that you made on the set of Rust?
Yes.
And
She's
recently,
just laying foundation.
did I send some of them back to you for you to review?
Yes.
Sister of
How many
Mercy, they
videos
haven't
did I
asked
send
any.
back to you for you to review?
I counted 17.
Do you recall approximately how many videos you sent me in response to my subpoena?
I do not.
Can you estimate? Can you give us an estimate?
Negative Ghost Rider. Lots.
It could be. It could be over 100.
Lots.
Okay.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
I would have to. You know, I don't recall. I didn't count, but
It's okay.
it could be over 100.
Okay. I'm happy with your answer, but if I can show you what you sent me.
Oh,
if
do you have
want
a
me
number?
to. I don't have the number, but I have all your files.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you'll just give me a moment.
Does streaming have behind the scenes? I probably should, but don't, because it would just be embarrassing. But they have behind the scenes footage of this. Linda said, Emily, did you happen to catch Jensen Ackles' police interview on YouTube? I haven't watched it yet. Well, he might not be on the witness list. He really can't explain things. I'm surprised he's not on the witness list, but I don't think he was on site when this happened.
No problem.
So that's where we're at. I'm going to answer some more questions.
May I approach?
She's going to approach the witness to show them something. Just figured out how to share milestones. Keo, congratulations. Why do guns on set ever need dummy rounds in them? It has to do show up on film. So they're not inert. They do show up some on film. So it has to do with the way they show up on film. I am not a filmmaker, so I can't help that much more. Emily, do you think Jensen Ackles would testify in Baldwin's trial? It's more likely just because it's another actor's perspective on checking the gun themselves. That's not going to come up in this trial as much. The reason the defense attorney is up at counsel or up at the witness stand is to see what the prosecution's doing and make any necessary objections. It's appropriate. Anytime one of the attorneys is talking to a witness on the stand, the other one will be there as they sort it out. Jen K, could they decide to charge Seth Kinney? We're going to be running into statute of limitations issues if we have not already run into statute of limitations issues. They chose not to charge him, and I imagine when he testifies, the defense will ask if he's been granted immunity for his testimony, and we will see. I've not seen any filed documents that indicate that. Nina said, do you have more information as a lawyer regarding witness list, et cetera, than we have? Nina, I have access to everything that's on the court website, just like you do. I think I just have more experience on how to find that easily and make sense of it. But no, the things I have are publicly available. I do not have anything that is not publicly available, and I don't rely on things that are not publicly available.
Yeah, I mean, just about.
And in this case, I don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
There was.
How many videos did you give me?
126.
Okay, thank you. And the 17 videos that I sent back to you for you to review, do you recognize those videos when you looked at them?
Yes.
And are those the videos that you filmed?
Yes.
And
So she's just laying foundation for the evidence that's getting
those specific
admitted.
17 videos, what day did you film those videos?
October 21st, 2021?
That was October 13th, 2021.
Range,
Thank
October
you.
13th through the 21st, 2021.
So what I would like to do at this point in time is I would like to move for the admission of all videos from production outfitters that the court deems relevant and admissible as we move through the trial.
Hey, Tinsley, good to see you, bud.
No objection.
All right, these will be of
Glad
the
to be back in
17.
trial, too. Glad you guys are here with
Minor
me.
of the 17, I think the defense does have some that
Oh,
they
okay.
are intending
That's
to
fine.
admit also.
All right, okay.
So this is kind of a joint
Yes,
foundation.
yes, per stipulation, we'll do it this way, and I will so admit.
Thank you.
Okay. thank
Your
you. I pass the witness.
milestones are like where the super chats are. Lizzie said Jensen was on scene, just not in the church.
Sorry, Ryan, not so fast.
First time here, huh?
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, thanks for being with us today. I don't have any questions for you. You mentioned video.
First time here, huh?
videos.
He was getting
How
up to
exactly
leave
does
before
that-
cross-examination
what was
happened.
that?
That's why there was a moment of
That's
giggles.
an external monitor that is separate from the cameras that are being used by the film crew. It's separate, so that they can watch that. The director and the director of photography can watch what's happening separately.
Okay. And are you generally familiar with film sets and things like Video Village? And,
Yeah.
I see quite a few of them. I mean,
All right.
Well, where else are you
that
filming?
kind of system goes
If not
down,
film sets.
how do how do people have to adapt on set?
When a system like Video Village will go down,
I see where you're getting to.
I haven't seen it go down, but I would imagine
Or be taken
that
down?
they would probably.
Hang on, I'm going to object because I think it's
Lacks foundation?
at this point, but I also think
Speculative?
there are going to be plenty of witnesses who can talk about.
She keeps saying there's plenty of witnesses. The defense has a right to ask this witness
That's fine.
this question.
Thank you.
They always back down.
Did
Don't
you
back down.
Witness any film?
You have the
any
right to
scenes
ask.
actually being shot when you were on set?
Yes.
Did those scenes involve Mr. Baldwin?
Yes.
All right. Did he seem to be in command of those scenes?
Objection, foundation.
Judge, he said he saw it.
So lay the foundation.
Overruled.
So lay the foundation.
Well, the one that sticks out, he wouldn't have been in command because I think that it seemed that he was on a horse and he was playing dead, so it wasn't really much of a.
Okay. And what I'm talking about more so is, insofar as the pace of filming and things like that, did he seem to have an influence on that?
Sorry?
Oh, the witness said sorry. The judge said counsel approach. Huh. I wonder why. We're going to get to some questions. The witness is like, wait, what? Because this is probably the first time he's ever been in a courtroom like this. But I think the judge wants to stop them from getting into speculative grounds with this witness. Busy the gamer mom said, question, even if she had checked, wouldn't Alec had the opportunity to replace dummy rounds with live rounds? I mean, I suppose that could happen. I don't know if the defense is going to argue it. I don't know if there's any evidence of that, but they could throw it out there. If the rounds weren't fingerprinted, how would you know? Like, could Dave Halls have switched out rounds? Like, the gun left her hands and went to other people, not her. And it's her job to make sure that didn't happen. So yes, they could. Tell him maybe Hannah was an easy target to pin it on so he could walk away clean. If there's evidence that any of that happened, then this would be a more intentional homicide. Question, when Dave Halls takes the stand, will the defense be able to question him or talk at all about his plea deal? Sydney Smith, yes, they will be able to ask him about it. The prosecution will probably discuss that first. It's a bad look if the prosecution doesn't bring that up. It looks like they're hiding something, in my opinion. Shelly Ann said, question, what's the benefit of having working guns on set, even if dummy rounds? I think we went into that already. I think it appears differently on film, and that's what they want, but I am not a filmmaker. He was trying to talk to the judge.
Sir, the various scenes that you saw Mr. Baldwin in.
Melissa, we
did he
haven't
seem to
seen
be in
evidence of
control
this,
how
that
the
people
scene was
were
actually
in
being
fact
shot
shooting live
and
rounds
how
off hours. We haven't seen
quickly
evidence of
he was
that.
asking other people to work.
If it happens, we will.
Like I said, that so they're a short amount of time. What?
She's not happy with the questions they're asking. Hold on, we're going to back up 3 seconds. I want to hear.
So
other people to work. How the scenes that you.
Let's see. The judge is not happy.
In the various scenes that you saw Mr. Baldwin in, did he seem to be in control of how the scene was actually being shot and how quickly he was asking other people to work?
like I said, that so they're a short amount of time. What?
He said what? Counsel is approaching regarding Baldwin. I think she is admonishing them to stick to this witness. So all the questions that the attorneys are getting pulled up to are about Baldwin.
Morrissey via subpoena?
Ooh, hold on.
Did you make any edits to the videos that you sent Miss Morrissey via subpoena?
No, there was no edits to the videos.
All right, thanks. Nothing further.
That's a good question.
Just quickly.
Why? What are you redirecting on? What's there to redirect?
Mr. Litzinger, you expressed that you have some familiarity with the monitors in Video Village.
Yes. Yeah.
And you filmed inside Video Village on the set of Rust, didn't you?
Yes.
So let me ask you this.
Don't worry, Jenny.
The monitor
There will be purple tumblers.
that the director of photography is looking at in Video Village.
Yeah.
are they only looking at what the camera is recording?
They can see multiple cameras.
Right.
And
but
what
they,
multiple
can
cameras
they
are
see
recording?
anything that is not being recorded by a camera?
No.
Yes.
How?
Like I said, some of those monitors are attached to other cameras.
But if the cameras aren't rolling, how are they able to see through the monitor?
That's a specific question to what kind of monitors they are.
Okay, that's beyond your knowledge in terms of what they had on this movie set?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what
No
kind
problem.
they're using.
No problem. We'll talk to somebody
Yeah.
else about it. Thank you, sir. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
your
All right,
time.
you're excused. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Taylor said, I'm a hairstylist, makeup artist.
The next witness is, should we take a early lunch break or should we keep going?
I think the next witness isn't going to take very long, so if we can get
Okay, sure.
him done, and
Yes.
then we'll go to lunch.
Fine.
It's like, let's get it
Jason
moving.
Hawks is who the state will call next.
Hawks. I can't stop thinking about the drastic changes in appearance. She changed her hair and got the most generic style. She looks like a soccer mom now. Strategic? Yes, strategic. Yes, absolutely strategic.
Can you call him more affirmatively?
I don't know what the judge just asked. Not a purple large coffee mug that we can look. I was talking about the tumblers. Y'all are welcome to put your state flags in the chat in response to this if you would like.
You'll give in this case will be the truth, the
So.
whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, have a seat, talk into the mic, thank you.
So this will be a quick witness, and then we'll go to lunch. Sounds like a good plan, y'all. What are we
Please
having
state
for
your name
lunch?
For the record,
Jason Hawks.
how are you currently employed?
Hello, Mr.
I have a
Hawks.
company that analyzes device extractions and cell phone records for attorneys.
Foundation. This witness won't take long, famous last words. This is foundational. Did you
Mr. Hawks,
laying the foundation to admit the
can
shit
you
that will be
give,
talked about later?
the ladies and gentlemen of the jury some information about your background and training?
Certainly. So I started in law enforcement in 2005 with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. I remained there until 2017.
Hang in there,
with the last
stationary geek
about 7
Kate.
years being assigned to investigations. After leaving the sheriff's office, I went to the district attorney's office where
I was a
I
DAI.
was an investigator for the DA. I was there for 3 years, and then I started this company.
And then I went
specific
to be a
device
consultant.
Extractions. I've attended classes from Cellbrite, which is a company that
Oh, we know
extracts
so much
information
about
from a handset.
Cellbrite.
I'm a certified operator, certified physical analyst, and I've recently
Sir,
taken the
we know a lot about
advanced
Cellbrite.
smartphone analysis.
Courtesy of Alec Murdaugh's
How did
trial.
you become involved in this case?
I was contacted by the prosecutor's office, I believe it was about
Because Hannah's attorneys just said, sure, search the phone. And so I went, whoopee.
a year ago in March, late March, I believe, 23.
And were you asked to perform any work?
I was.
And let me back up for a second. Have you been?
Autumn, I don't think
I
anyone
apologize.
threw the phones around their office in this case. I think the defense said, you can search the
Have you
phone.
been qualified as an expert witness
Mention it all.
in cell phone records and device analysis?
But no need
I
to
have.
hurl it around
And
an
how many
office.
times have you been qualified as an expert in those areas?
Between records from the carrier and records from the handset, I've been qualified 53 times in 5 states.
He does this a lot.
Do you
folks.
recall what those states are?
Let's see, Texas, Louisiana, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona, 6 states, in California.
Okay. And now you're here in New Mexico.
Now I'm in New Mexico.
I would ask the court to recognize Mr. Hawks as an expert in cell phone records and device analysis.
No objection.
All right, so you're still recognized.
Now you
Great.
get to add New Mexico to your list. Mr. Hawks,
that
can,
land
can
for
you
anybody?
explain to the jury
Did that land for anyone?
kind
get
of
to-
what,
you get to
what
add
kind
New
of
Mexico to your list. He's like,
technology,
whoopee.
you're using and kind of how the cell phone records interface with the software, the extraction software?
Sure. So our smartphones are essentially a bunch of databases that are stored. So programs like Cellbrite go in and they extract the information from the handset. And they do it in a way that doesn't change the nature of the artifact. So if I receive a text message but don't read it, it doesn't change that unread status. So at first, all of the information is removed from the handset, and then it's parsed through Physical Analyzer, is the name of the program. In Physical Analyzer, the information is essentially put back together, and it's converted to whatever time zone it needs to be converted to.
In this particular case,
Thank you for your first super chat, Dane.
what
It's your
kind of work
member
did you
super chat,
perform?
so it's a free
I
super chat.
reviewed the
So
Celebrite
exciting.
extraction of Ms. Gutierrez Reed's her iPhone.
when an extraction is done, does everything on the phone get kind of downloaded?
Unfortunately, not everything. So not all of the information is always recovered, but things like text messages, phone calls, images, things like that are downloaded from the handset.
And when you took you received the raw data from the extraction that was done of Ms. Gutierrez's phone, is that right?
Yes.
Michelle, I'm glad you're here.
So just to be clear, you yourself did not perform the extraction.
That's correct.
Do you know who performed
Private Eye,
the
the chat
extraction?
is
Not
on
the
slow
person's
mode.
name, but
We just
the
have like
agency.
17,000 people here.
The Regional Computer Forensics Lab here in New Mexico.
So how did that data come to you?
Oh, the prosecutor and I
Came to
like
me
the
on
same
an
pens.
external hard drive.
And when you received that data,
Get it, Pilot
what
V5 girl?
What do you do in order to
I love these pens.
conduct an analysis?
So I opened the data in the Physical Analyzer program, which essentially takes the extracted data and runs it through the most current version of the program. And with that, it breaks out the data into various different categories.
Okay. And what kind of categories?
Everything from cell sites that the phone might have seen, images, videos, audio files, notes, text messages, iMessages, voice logs. There's most of the data that we see on our phones is accessible to the program.
And were you able to separate out information related to this particular device that identifies this device?
Yes.
And
I'm going to show you what I am marking as State's Exhibit 92.
Samantha, congratulations. So many of you have found your member chats. That's very exciting. Chris Hollins asked earlier, do you think her dad, Theo Reed, will testify? It's possible. But I don't know if he will testify in the capacity of it as an expert, but it is possible that he will testify on the defense side here. What would be the motive to shoot a live round? I don't think there is a motive here. I don't think there should have been live rounds on set. It's wild. Lisanne said, I'm holding out for a purple 40-ounce Stanley Lawnard collab. We'll see what we can do.
Do you recognize that?
I do.
Do you recognize the microphone, ma'am?
This is
Because
the
we can't
device
hear you.
information that was captured by the Cellbrite program for the phone.
How do we know that this is Hannah Gutierrez's phone?
Good question. Microphone.
Well, I mean, I received the extraction of the phone.
Carry your
There's some
mic.
information on here, such as like the phone number, an email address, things like that, that would suggest that it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Patches.
Phone numbers on there?
Yes.
Patches said, I have a degree in filmmaking and background in all of this. No reason to have live rounds on set at all. I agree. I don't think there's a reason at all. Live rounds should have never been on this set. And we know that things can happen with dummy rounds, but live rounds should have never been on this set. And my biggest question is, how the fuck did that happen?
Look at a couple of things here. I know it's. See if we can make it a little closer up. Does this
Wrong
tell you what
one.
kind of-
You want to use the microphone?
Londoner
Oh,
said,
sorry.
thank you, Your Honor. Leonard said if it's
Does
proven
this tell you what kind of phone it was?
that live rounds
It
came from
does.
the
What kind
Yellowstone
of phone is
set,
it?
could they be
So
liable
on
for a civil suit?
Number
No.
6, you can see
The
where
person
it
who had
says,
the rounds could
detected
be.
model. It says iPhone, and then in parentheses it says D as in David, 54. P
I've
as in
covered
Paul,
all
A
of
as
those
in
civil
Adam, P
lawsuits
as in
pretty
Paul.
thoroughly.
That's the
They're on a
iPhone
playlist.
code for an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. And
I
I'm
like the Pro
sorry,
Max too.
Does this monitor usually come on? Because I can't see. That would be great if
Tech.
I can see it on the monitor in front of me, so I don't have to walk back and forth. My eyesight isn't good enough to see what's on.
I mean, I relate. She's like, can we turn this monitor on? So
Thank you,
I
sir.
can't see it. I got you, ma'am. Carrie, I feel
Does it
you.
provide the date and time of the extraction?
Princess Scone says, why do they keep
The date
focusing
and
on
time
her?
of the
I hate it, but it's
extraction
because
is
she's the
actually
defendant. I
on
want
a
to see who's
different-
talking.
A different part of the extraction.
What's in the number 2 column,
That is the
or
date.
row rather?
I'm sorry. That is that's the date and time that the phone was displaying at the time of when it was extracted in UTC.
Okay. So what is your understanding about the date? I don't particularly care about the time. The date of the
Oh, she's like,
extraction.
That it was the extraction occurred on December 8th of 2021.
And is there an Apple
Good to see you,
ID
J. Michael.
associated with this phone?
There is.
What's that?
So that is number 22.
Joy,
under
I
Apple
agree.
ID, where it says hannahmemail@gmail.com.
And what is the phone number associated with this
Ugh.
phone?
The phone number
I
is
hope she's changed her
on line
number.
24, which is 928-444-3555.
It's needed in this case. It's in some of the
What's
other filings in
owner
this
name
case.
of this phone?
It's needed to tie them together. I just hope she's changed her number.
The name that would
Hannah's
appear
lawyers,
on,
tell her
say,
to
a
change her
Bluetooth
number if she
device
hasn't already.
is found on line 32.
Anne
Which
said, I
is,
wish all cases had
Gorilla
Paltrow
Grip
camera
Pussy Pal.
rules. I do too.
Okay. And did you...
Jordan, they have to. It's in the court filings too. Like, it's already
At my
been made
request.
public a lot. So,
Did you separate out some
so it's been out there, but you have to.
contact information for...
I hope it's
one
been
of the
changed, but
people
you have
in the
to-
contacts of this phone?
You have to tie
Yes.
the phone back to her. I think they could have done it with
I'm gonna show you
IMEI
where I'm
numbers. That's
working
what they did
as
in
States
Murdoch.
Exhibit 93, may I approach?
But again, the phone's been the phone's been in some of the court filings. So again, I hope she's changed it. The law nerds won't call it. Law nerds are not evil internet people. 32 months over.
Sir, do you
32 months of
recognize
getting
States
smarter with
Exhibit
EDB.
93?
I do.
Good to see you.
What is that?
This is the contact information for a contact stored as dadcula.
Thank you.
A contact stored as dad is what they're talking about.
I'm sorry, permission to publish? I'm already publishing.
Any objection
No objection.
to the admission and publication?
Dawn said, I think we can at this point prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the jury is confused, if not familiar with firearms. Thanks, EDB, for the commentary. You're welcome. Most of this is foundation.
Generally speaking, what information
They don't need the jury to
does this
get all of
sheet
it.
have,
They need to get it in
with
so they can
regard to
summarize
the
it later.
contact dadcula, and if you could spell that for us.
Sure, it's DADCULA exclamation point. So what it has is information about that person's contact info, their WhatsApp phone number, their telephone number, when it was added as a contact, that sort of thing.
Please don't read any of the phone numbers. Connie, though,
What's the phone number for
No!
dadcula?
No, ma'am.
The phone number is
No, stop it. We're not going through her dad's phone number. Now I know it's coming. Dad Kula, not Dracula. Dad Kula.
At my request,
I mean, maybe like Dracula.
Did you sort of pull out text messages on from the date of October 20th, 2021.
I did.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking as state's exhibit.
Lorraine asked, question, if she is acquitted, will she ever be able to get a job in this area again? I don't know.
And there are
Because if she's acquitted, the action still isn't
3
good.
pages.
She's
to
still-
this exhibit.
She still should have caught it. So, I don't know. And I honestly, I don't know if she'll want to, because real traumatic. So I don't know if she'll want to. Or if she will just do something else. I'm going to get to some of your questions while the prosecutor's looking for whatever, but because the camera's not on them, I don't know. Is this her version of quick? Apparently. However, there's still a half an hour till the traditional lunch break, so I think what she is saying is we can get this witness done before the end of the lunch break, which is an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
An hour's not quick, but
Skip this stuff. May I approach?
Tula said, I'm living for your commentary. Thank you, Tula. I mean, Susan the other week told me to stop analyzing so much, so I was like, you're on the wrong channel, Susan. Now's a good time to remind you all to do the YouTube-y
What are
things,
we looking at there?
the likey things, the subscribey things.
We are looking at
And to get the
a
free
text
law nerd
thread
app.
between the
So
928
you know.
number I already referenced and a 505 number.
So you know when we're live, you know when we're back from lunch, you know when the witnesses are coming on. I'm going to tell
I'll
you
move for the admission
when Sarah
of
Zachary's on, when Dave Halls are on, when the key witnesses are on.
93 and 94, and then I think we're also going to do a general moving like we discussed.
Okay,
No
so,
objection.
all right, so you may publish.
Anthony said, I feel like she's just a scapegoat in this. And that's what the defense is going to argue,
When
right?
So when
Hannah's-
this text message here that's on the
Echo Mike,
screen,
Hannah's email
who is this
is in all the
video?
court
Is this a
filings
text
too, so
message
it's
from that phone
it's
or
been
to
made
that
public.
phone?
I hope it's
It is a
shut
text
down.
message from the
She-
928 number to the 505
This was coming.
number.
Okay, and can you read it for us?
The content?
Yes.
Yes, it's LOL. I don't need that tonight anyways. Right on. I might go smoke in the jacuzzi soon, but maybe not. I'm so pooped.
Okay.
I'm
And
pooped
I'm gonna show
too.
you the second page,
Put that back. That was a text message.
exhibit.
That was a text
94.
message between her and her dad. I'll go smoke in the jacuzzi later. The reason, and I saw the question, the reason it's important to get the phone numbers in is to connect who's texting who, and who's having conversations with who. So I'm going to make myself smaller for these pictures of text messages.
And is that a text to or from Ms. Gutierrez's phone?
It is from her phone.
And it is to the 505 number?
Correct.
And if you can, and what's the date?
The date is October 20th, 2021.
This is the night before.
7:48 and 46 seconds p.m. local time.
Okay. And can you read that for
Agent
us?
Rod,
It says,
my
"Headed
voice
down
does get
to
higher
get
when
high out back,
my video gets smaller.
colon B."
Yes.
I'm gonna show
So
you
the night
third
before,
page
back to
of
Titanic.
Exhibit 94.
The night before the fatal shooting, Hannah Gutierrez is texting her father that she's going to smoke in the
And what's in
jacuzzi.
the blue?
So the blue is an incoming message from that 505 number to her
Excuse
phone.
me, production. Can we see the text
And-
messages that are on the screen, please?
Just for context, what does that message say?
That message says, "Time to eat now. How'd the blaze cess go?"
Blaze
And was
sesh.
there a and what time
Blaze-
was that message sent?
Boomer. Blaze sesh. I think this says I'm still smoking. Could they have redacted the phone numbers? Sure. Did they? No. Is there anything we can do about it? No. Does this count as doxing? No. They're allowed to show this in court.
So that message was received by the phone at 8:24 and 46 seconds.
Can you show us the
in
message?
red at 8:25 and 47 seconds.
Okay. And so
Oh, it does say
What
ses.
year-
It means blaze sesh.
this is the time that it was received?
Correct.
And this
But
is the
how
time
is
it
her
read.
dad?
Correct.
And
Why does this say source info gorilla grip pussy pal? What is a gorilla grip pussy pal? Friends, I am not, this trial is going to kill me. but the small blue writing says source distraction, logical, source info, Gorilla Grip, Pussy Pal, mobile library, SMS text. What? But these texts, this goes to the prosecution's theory that she was smoking weed the night before this shooting happened. And why is she texting her dad about the Blaze sesh? What? I need to know what's happening.
Then is
Gorilla
there a
Grip,
response
Pussy
to
Pal.
that
Put it on the
text that
bingo
we're looking
list.
at here in green?
Name a sex
There is.
toy.
And what time is that sent?
That is sent at 8:25.
We need to trademark.
Seconds.
We need to trademark Gorilla
And
Grip,
this is
Pussy
from
Pal.
Ms. Gutierrez's phone to the 505 number?
Yes.
And what is
Coming
that
to the
text
Law
message
Nerd
say?
shop soon.
It says, "I'm still smoking."
Okay, thank you.
Blaze sesh really helps us know exactly what smoking they're talking about. Amy, I'm sorry that you're putting on makeup while we're talking about the
Did
Pussy
you
Pals.
sort of separate out for me a short thread between Ms. Gutierrez's phone and the Dad Kula contact?
If nobody
Yes.
brings up Gorilla Grip, Pussy Pal, I'm going to die. Like, I have to know.
I'm going to show you what I'm
The way I have to fucking know.
States
I-
Exhibit 95.
But now it's a merch idea. Anna Marie said, why are they weed shaming her? No. This is a criminal trial for negligence. And in a criminal trial for negligence, all of her actions are relevant to discuss.
States Exhibit 95 is.
And if she was smoking weed the night before this accident happened, it's going to go to proving whether or not she was reckless. So societal, I guess, notions of shaming and criminal court work very, very different. All of her behavior is going to be picked apart because on her watch, a live bullet ended up in a gun when it was her job to make sure it didn't,
I do.
and somebody died. So all
What
of it's
is that?
going to be picked apart.
These are messages that were exchanged between the 928 number and the Dad Kula contact
So-
on November 8th of 2021.
And I have no problem with people
Approximately
smoking
what
weed. I don't know if it's the
It
best idea
starts
when you
at
are working in this
4:08 and
environment.
36 seconds. And
But
it
I don't
ends
think
at
she was high when she went to
5:36.
work. I don't think they can prove that she was high when she went to work.
5:24 and 30.
But we'll see. If she's high at work, it's a problem. If it was drinking, would they be talking about it? Yes. If she had been drinking off duty, would it still matter? Yeah, they would still be talking about it.
All right, States 95 is admitted. You may
If
vote.
she had gone out to dinner and had 5 margaritas, if she had said, give me one margarita. No, Emily. If she had gone out drinking the night before with margaritas, they would have brought in the receipts from the
that
drinking, the
message,
people who were drinking with
Is
her.
that
It
from the
absolutely
928 number?
would have come up.
Correct. So any of the messages that are in green are from the 928 number, and any messages in blue are from an outside number.
Okay.
Hold on.
And can everybody read that?
No, you took it away.
That way I don't have to have Mr. Hawks read it.
Put it back.
And then I'm going to show you the second page. If anybody's had a moment to read that.
Yep,
I'll show you the second page.
I'm backing up.
In the second page,
I'll go back later.
Response.
They're looking for the second page.
The top blue box is the response from the previous message that says "will do," and then beneath that is an image that was sent to her phone from the
I
outside.
can't see that at all. We'll sing the Margarita song later. What are we doing?
what are we looking at there?
I don't fucking
We're
know.
looking at a thumbnail of the image that was sent to her phone. So the image name is img_0686.heic, and we're looking at the inset thumbnail.
And were you able to collect that actual photo for me so we don't have to look at a thumbnail?
Yes.
Thank you.
The chat is letting me know that Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal is Hannah Gutierrez Reed's phone name. The name of the phone. Okay. I mean, I named my phone too. I don't think your phone should ever be named iPhone whatever.
At my request, did you
You guys are welcome to share if you name your phone in the chat and what you name it. If you would like to, you do not have to.
Between Ms. Gutierrez.
This is my favorite part of the trial so
Dad
far. I'm sorry.
contact,
I'm not.
And a contact by the name of Jason Bowles.
I'm not gonna recover from that. It's just too fantastic. It's just too fantastic. It's just too good. Put them back on screen. We want the phone name. We need the phone name. Someone in the chat, Tanya said, my phone name is Look Behind You. My phone name is Triggered. Let's see. I feel so lame having an iPhone named iPhone. Change the name. My phone's name is Shade. My phone's name's Winona. I named mine TARDIS. She's funny as hell for that. It is pretty funny. Mine's just called Stacy's phone. Yes, I'm basic. Mine is fucking Queen of England. My phone's name is Chloe. I named my Wi-Fi not the FBI van. I love it. My phone name is Regatta Gala. My phone name is Little Dude. I do not name my phone.
May I approach?
I need more information. Every question, my chat keeps jumping as there's a lot of you in here. Every question and answer is giving me more questions that need answers. Yes.
Mr. Hawks, do you recognize that?
I do.
What is
What
it?
is that?
This is part of the text message thread that you were just referencing.
And what's the date of that text exchange?
What is in front of me here starts on December 1st, 2021, and ends also December 1st, 2021.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
You guys are killing me. I love the phone names, Law Nerds. They are just absolutely everything. I'm going to answer some of your questions. Why is the phone and contact so important to tie them all together? Because a lot of the things she was texting give clues about her behavior.
Permission of States Exhibit 96 and permission to publish.
Coochie grips harder than a gorilla's grip. Zach. It's TJ Talks at Occam's Razor. Isn't it most likely live rounds got mixed up at PDQ, the one known source that this tragic, horrible, but honest mistake?
Sure. So the top blue box is a message.
I'm going to pause this. There is apparently chemical analysis that shows that the live rounds from PDQ and the live rounds on this set do not have the same gunpowder. So we can talk about that more later. We will see if that evidence comes in.
The Dadcula contact to Ms. Gutierrez's phone. And the second blue box is an incoming message from Mr. Bowles.
Wait. It says, I'm going to have to start pausing these and reading these. So these are texts between her and her attorney, which I don't like why we're talking about it. Get someone to show her a single action gun and how it works. They don't go off by themselves. And then it says, yes, I sent her this manual I got today also. We're going to back up because they are saying these are text messages between her and Mr. Bowles, and nobody has objected yet, and I'm losing my mind.
Admitted you may publish.
So I backed up a little bit. Mary P said my hubby's phone name is Sir, and he loves it.
Can you just briefly explain what we're looking at here?
Sure. So the top blue box is a message from the Dadcula contact to Ms. Gutierrez's phone. And the second blue box is an incoming message from Mr. Bowles,
the lawyer,
number to Ms. Gutierrez's phone.
So was this a...
I know the privilege is waived. It's just...
Oh, sure.
Mr. Bowles is like, can we approach? Because my phone number is now on the internet. So can we not? I'm not surprised they're approaching. Okay, let me zoom so we're back on real time while they're approaching to talk about this. Mr. Bowles is like, those are my texts. Can we not? Or can we redact out the phone number?
Mr. Hawks, let me back up for just a moment. How do we know that 3 people were involved in this text conversation?
So the Cellbrite program will pull out text threads. So if If you and I have a text thread, and you and I and another person have a text thread, those are two separate threads in my phone. So what we're looking at here is a thread that was between these three people.
Sir, can you
Okay.
technically explain
This is
group
not a thread
texting?
that was only between Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Bowles.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to read that?
No. We had to
I'm gonna
pause.
show you the second page of State's Exhibit 96.
Eddie said, why would her attorney waive the privilege? Because I covered this at the last hearing. The attorneys did not put any limitations on the phone when it was searched, and the court was like, that's on you. They volunteered for the phone to be searched. They did not limit it in any way, so the attorney text messages in the phone
Thread?
are
So
disclosed.
the top
1 second, let me
blue
mute
box
myself, Doctor.
is an incoming message from the contact from Mr. Bowles. The green box beneath that is an outgoing message to both, because it's a group thread. And then the bottom blue box is an incoming message from the Dadcula contact.
Okay. Everybody have an opportunity to read those. I know they're pretty short, and at this point, they may not make much sense. But we're getting there. I'm going to show you the...
One of the jurors didn't see it.
Dr. B would like the chat to know that his phone is not named Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal. And in case any of you had questions. Oh, Desiree pointed out a very good point that was obvious and I missed, which
I'm gonna
was
show you page 3.
her dad's in the group text, so there's no privilege because it's a group text. Very fair point. Now why are we approaching? Oh, good. We can speed up. I want the judge to be asking them, can someone explain to me what Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal means? Please? Can someone please explain? I'm gonna rename Dr. B's phone later, and I don't know if he will notice, and I don't know if he'll be able to undo it. I hope it's a juror question. That would be great. The jurors are like, what does this mean about the gorilla? I'm gonna keep fast forwarding till we're back to.
Please don't.
Damn it, we're going to lunch.
Okay, jury, we're gonna break for lunch. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else
Well,
about
not
the
damn it.
evidence received here in court, okay? And, thank you, we'll be back at, what do you all want, 12:40 or?
What do we want?
1 o'clock, what do you want?
Is one possible, Judge?
You sure it is? Okay, 1 o'clock, okay?
All right. Lunch till 1 o'clock, which means for us 2 p.m. So lunch is going to be about an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to answer some questions and we're going to take a break for lunch. You guys want to have the Lawnerd app so that you know when we're back. Everybody's going to have to stretch. We're going to stretch. We're going to eat. I'm going to take a little break.
Counsel, because he's still under oath and still testifying, please don't talk with any other witnesses about this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All right, so counsel will be back at 10 of, and just in case there's anything to address. Okay, thank you. We're in recess.
We're in recess. I'm going to leave court up because I always love seeing what people are doing as they're leaving court, who they're talking to, all the things. We are going to answer your questions. We're going to take a break for lunch. We're going to go to a second feed. After lunch, A, I find it makes the stream smoother. B, I hate having to cut out a giant chunk of me not being here at lunchtime. And C, I think it makes the replay better. So stream smoother, replay better. So we break into morning and afternoon sessions because that we found works best for us. And I'm going to try to figure out how I want to set up a chat later. I might do that over the weekend. So I don't know. But it doesn't say Gorilla Glue. It does say Gorilla Grip, which was interesting. All right, we are officially at lunch in New Mexico. Cheryl, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that right now. So we're gonna recap the morning, and I'm gonna try not to say the name of the phone 100 times. Wish me luck, chat. The morning of day 2 of the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial. She is the armorer from the set of Rust where Alec Baldwin fatally shot Helena Hutchins. was a lot of laying foundation for other evidence. So the morning started with the crime scene tech that recovered all of the ammunition, the guns, the gun belts, all the things that were on set, marked those all into evidence. We also saw from a person who was doing video production of the behind the scenes of the making of Rust, and they marked into evidence videos that they filmed. And the last witness this morning was a witness going through the Cellbrite cell phone dump of Hannah Gutierrez Reed's phone and some of the text messages back and forth that seemed to indicate that Hannah Gutierrez Reed was smoking weed in the jacuzzi the night before this shooting, before she went back to work, and the conversation being had between her and seemingly her dad, but maybe not, because the dad kula might have been somebody else. But that is what we were seeing at the end, and we will be getting into the Cellbrite cell phone dump a little bit more in the afternoon session of court. Of course, the prosecution said this witness will be fast, and an hour later it's like, we're going to lunch. And that's where we left off this morning. Lots and lots of foundation being laid for evidence that's going to come in later. You guys, let's get to your questions real quick, and then we will take a break for lunch. Members, remember that your members exclusive Tumblr is available in your members spaces. If those do not sell out, we will make them publicly available. So check back in the afternoon, and I will have more information for you about when we are going to do that after I talk to Team Baker at lunch. But it is our goal, if they do not sell out, to be able to make them available to everyone. But we're not going to make that decision just yet. We're going to let the members make sure that they get their hands on that. I hate the panicked rush to try to buy something. Concert tickets, tumblers, Stanley Cups, whatever it is. It stresses me. It stresses me out. I don't like it. So I want to make sure people feel like they have time. That is a personal thing. Our Wi-Fi name is Slayer. Slayer, did I say that right? I don't know if I did or not. Mine is Mark's phone. I'm basic. Han Soli's blaster. I think that's Han Solo's blaster. That's great. Is the witness's hair blue? No, it might have just been the lights in the courtroom. The white balance has been kind of weird in court. Beautiful Messy Ball said she asked permission to shoot Baldwin's gun off set and was denied days before in writing. She allegedly had set security letter into the prop truck after hours right before too, which will definitely come in. If Hannah was getting into the prop truck after hours for stuff, we will see. My mom flipped when my hotspot was Mike Hunt Sweat. I love that. I love that so much. It's too funny. I missed the super quick witness. What did he testify to? I'm sure the chat has already answered that, but it was foundational. Foundation. We've laid foundation. We've admitted evidence. We haven't seen the evidence. Cast Iron Mama said, stuck in the PICU with my little this week. Glad for friends. Cast Iron Mama, you are not alone. I am sorry. The PICU is very hard. My oldest was in the NICU for quite some time after he was born, and it is a very unique and specific experience. So hopefully you're good. Is he extracting text with Twitch clips? I don't know. Some of those were rough. Can this show that it's not a big deal to smoke weed on the job? Her dad was a professional. I mean, I think that a jury is going to be disinclined to think it's not a big deal to smoke weed at work if you are an armorer in charge of safety. What you do after work hours, I think the defense is going to have to discuss the fact that just because she was smoking after work hours does not mean she was inebriated and on set, or that she in any way was altered on set and not able to do her job. I think that's the argument. But doing drugs at work when you are in charge of safety and weapons is, I imagine, well outside the bounds of what is considered best practices when handling weapons. We definitely don't want people handling weapons while intoxicated. So different jobs, different things. I mean, I would imagine if you work at like a weed shop, less of a big deal to smoke weed at work. Brittany said, thoughts and prayers for my small town where a little boy has been missing since Tuesday morning. Brittany, that has got to be very stressful for you and your community. So I understand, and thoughts and prayers. I'm going to get to some questions, and we're going to take a lunch break. Yes, why were there live rounds on set? Dawn, the question we all want to know. Tell me how to do a notebook like you. Kanya, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I take notes of the things that I want to remember about a trial in my notebook. I'm actually working on getting notebooks this size into the Law Nerd Shop because I love them, so that I don't forget while I am streaming what stood out to me. Question, if she gets convicted, what kind of time will she get? She could get anything from probation to prison time. I believe her max is 8 years, but I would need to go back and look because I think it's 4 and 4 on the different charges. But I'll check over the lunch break. We have a pretty decent lunch break today, so I should be able to check while I am eating. Question, will there be a Control F Yourself hoodie? I will make a note for the team. Why did PDQ have live ammo at all? I don't know if some sets ever request live ammo. That's why they were talking about the set of Yellowstone 1883, is that they took the actors as part of their weapons training to the gun range where it is appropriate to shoot the weapons. So I don't know if sets ask for live ammo. I just don't know. We should hear about it. Jury gets to ask questions per the judge. Will there be any? Only if the jury is curious. Right now, laying foundation is boring. There's not much to be curious about. It's like you recovered this thing from there and it's numbered that. There's not a lot. And that might be part of their trial strategy, is to get through those foundational witnesses today before the weekend. The jury's not going to forget anything. And we get into the interesting stuff next week. Liz, thank you so much. Love everything you do. They mentioned yesterday about 2 different caliber size bullets used. Is that an issue with the same gun? It made it jam. That was a different gun. This is a great question, and I'm really glad that you asked it. The pump action shotgun is not the 6-shooter pistol that was the gun that shot, that Alec Baldwin fired in the church. They are 2 different guns. I think the reason they are focusing on the pump action being loaded with the wrong caliber bullet is to show that Hannah Gutierrez Reed was being negligent. It wasn't just this gun. It was that she was, lever action rifle, not shotgun. Thank you. It's that she had loaded another weapon on set with the wrong round, the wrong size round, showing that she was doing her lever action, not pump. Thank you, chat. That she was doing her job negligently and recklessly, because the gun in the church was loaded with a live round, and the gun that they recovered was loaded with the wrong rounds, not a live round, but the wrong caliber rounds, and that is a problem. So it's showing her doing her job recklessly. Question, can a mistrial be called because they showed text with her lawyer? No. They have the text with her lawyer. They're allowed to have the text with her lawyer. I think they could have redacted what was publicly shown, but didn't. But the jury needs to see the numbers to connect it all together. Like, it's not going to be redacted for the jurors. So no, it cannot be. The last pre-trial hearing before the trial started, they were arguing over that quite a lot, and the defense lost. And what the judge said to them about the text, this was a group text, so it is a little bit different. I forgot that it was a group text when we were talking about it, but the defense didn't limit those texts. Nothing that is, the text here are the group texts. So those are fair game. So no, I wouldn't want to be the defense attorney whose phone number is up on screen. It's a reminder to attorneys to not text. Plastic Noise Experience gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Susan, I'm sure the chat already answered what the weed laws are in New Mexico, because I live there. This is text messages with her dad. Awkward. It seemed to be, but it might not have been. I don't know if they actually affirmatively identified, but it was Dad Kula. I don't know if that's actual dad. My Wi-Fi is Nightland Cometh. That's funny. All right. Can we get Rob to say her phone name on? Okay, chat. There are 14,000 of you here. Good luck with that. I don't rarely encourage chat to do things that are silly. But see if you can. See if you can. See if you can. And if you can, what are we going to do if Rob drops the phone name on FNF? What do we do over here? I think I should gift memberships on Monday. So if Rob says the phone name, I think I'm gifting memberships. How many memberships are we gifting? 50? 100? You let me know, chat. Let's take, I can't put up a poll because I forgot to put my chat back up. If it happens, I'll gift memberships. Is it too much to call my phone Linda's Clam? You're missing a few words in that. Ice baby. There's a few more words. 100. You guys are saying 100 in the chat. If it happens, I will gift 100 memberships Monday. So good luck, chat. Good luck to you. I'm sure you can make it happen. Why Bro is a set medic and has in his contact he will not be on any set with live rounds. Celeste, I can't. No set should have live rounds. Like, round could have been wrong from distributor. I guess. I thought we can't be in possession of firearm if using drugs and alcohol. Pamel the Camel, most jurisdictions have specific charges for the possession of both things at once. If she was using after hours, she would not have been in possession at the two things at the same time. But if she did have cocaine in her pocket on set, then she would have been in possession of cocaine in her pocket and weapons on set. They didn't charge that, but it is what it is. Cafe Olay said, why is this such an explicit trial? A, because they are. B, because I have the mind of a 13-year-old or 15-year-old because I have a 15-year-old. And C, because Mr. Bowles keeps doing this in court and I cannot. Target practice is not appropriate downtime. And we don't know if they were doing that or not. There are rumors that was happening. We will see if that comes up more. Shrez says, one of you enterprising people here needs to invent an end-to-end encrypted app for attorneys to use with clients. That should exist. And you know what? It should be sold with the case management software. Like, it should be bundled into all the different case management softwares that are sold. So it's just an app like Grasshopper or whatever on your phone. So that is it. I got a note from Team Baker. So Team Baker has reminded me, chat, if you are ordering mugs, make sure to double check your address carefully because the mugs ship almost instantaneously. We do not have any buffer room to change the address after you order. Whatever address is put in is exactly where they are getting shipped. Miss Opinionated said phones have names. You can name your phone. You can change it depending on what kind of phone you have. It might be different places, but you can change it in the settings. Sky Beauty said my phone's name is Listen Linda. I love it. All right, everyone, you know what to do at FNF. Look, we will playfully ask the chat to see if they can make it happen. We will see. The catch on that is you can't tell Rob. You can't tell Rob that it's a challenge. You guys can make it. You guys can make it happen, because especially if he does a recap, he's going to be looking at those text messages, or you can ask him to look at the text message. For sure. By Jess with Love said, thanks EDB for the live court coverage. Keeps me motivated while getting knitting done while watching. I love to be here for your productive days. Diana said, here since 5K. Look at us now. I know. Let me look. We're at what, 743? I wonder. We got to look at the back end. We're going to look at the back end real quick, you guys, of my YouTube studio. Oh, we're not too far from 744. So we are at 743,800. So we've got 14,000 of you here. If you are not subbed, do you guys want to see the sub counter? Hold on. We can do that. Give me 1 second. Emily, can you pull that up? I can pull that up and show you guys, because now the sub counter is starting to move as you guys go ahead and subscribe. Hold on. I can show you. Let's see. There it is. So you guys can see it. Let's just do it this way. No, that way. So you guys can see it. We are getting close. That 745 number during trial will be really cool. We'll do more gifted memberships when we hit 745. But with 14,000 of you in the chat, I imagine some of you are not subscribed. So some of you will. My phone's name is Gwen Highway Far, said like King Arthur's wife, Gwennifer. Gorilla Grip glue is probably not a pal, especially not if you use it in ways you are not supposed to use it, for sure. Hey, EDB, bought my first lawn nerd purchase today. Yay, congratulations on that. Hey, EDB, I'm getting my bachelor's in criminal justice, graduating in August. Congratulations. All of your broadcasts are fascinating and relevant. Thank you. Portia, that is a very high compliment. Thank you. I'm currently in school to be a paralegal. I'm so thankful to have found your page. I haven't stopped watching since Tuesday. Taylor, congratulations on embarking on a fascinating legal career. Not only will you get to learn the law, but you will get to wrangle lawyers, and lawyers are special people. Lawyers are special people. I got my notification to buy my members only merch, but I can't find page. Go look on your members tab on YouTube. Go look in the community tab. There will be a post there in your community tab. Question: if 2 bullets out of 250 did not have holes and did not rattle, like they ever proved that this one bullet wasn't like one of those 2, I don't know if they need to. And Angelina, it's a good question. They don't need to. What they need to prove is that she wasn't checking, and that was dangerous. So that's where we're at. Lawyers are all like semi-feral cats. Yes. Worse when they're hungry, for sure. And difficult to herd. I had a case with 11 defendants. Each defendant had their own lawyer. Stina G said, my phone is Time Lord technology. Husband's is Gallifrey and all day, and the Wi-Fi is bigger on the inside. Hello, my fellow Whovians. Deanna, thank you. EDB, Runkle, and all the other lawyers for explaining all the things. I'm so glad I found this community. I think this community is amazing. Excited to be back for another trial. Me too. Thank you, Miguelina, for scheduling the live stream. If you'll just redirect it, we can let the chat since we got about an hour. Late again, but regarding shaking ammo to distinguish live from dummy, witness states on redirect a large amount. Defense should argue that it's not impossible to shake a bullet and it be a live round. You can shake a bullet, but you'll hear the powder, I think is what she testified to yesterday. Like you'll hear the powder shushing instead of hearing the jingling of the like BBs. Luna said lack of support resources could have affected her ability to do her job. Triangle of quality: cheap, good, fast. You only ever get 2 or 3. Want cheap and fast, won't be good. Want good and fast, won't be cheap. Fair. And with a low budget movie, we've got issues. Just Sarah, I will take that under advisement. Which is an SPN tattoo for 1 million. We could definitely swing a tattoo at 1 million subs. What the tattoo will be, I will let you know, but we could definitely swing a tattoo for 1 million subs. Lucas said, as someone who was blacklisted out of one career path and left broke and then very nearly blacklisted out of my dream career, both times for raising health and safety problems, I feel for Hannah Gutierrez Reed. It is a very real concern. It's a very real concern, and Hollywood is not easy to those that blow whistles at all. And I understand that concern is very real. So my neighbor's Wi-Fi is, I'm not a witch. I'm your Wi-Fi. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. That's so fucking fantastic. Law nerds, have I told you that you're the funniest people on the internet today? Because not only did the law nerds name Vincent Van Gogh, but we named the pickle every trial, and I'm worried that Gorilla Grip is what we're going to need to name the pickle, chat. I'm going to put up a poll in the afternoon, but I feel like Gorilla Grip is maybe the pickle name for this trial. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna pickle us out of here. I'm gonna get some lunch. I'm going to go double. What did I say? I was gonna double check. Emily, stop putting the pickle by your mouth. I'm going to double check the max sentence so we have it. Members, don't forget to check your member spaces. Don't forget to download the Law Nerd app. Absolutely free to you. iOS, Android, it'll keep you in the loop. If you are not getting app notifications, you can always try turning notifications back off and on. And if that still isn't working, help at Emily D. Baker. All right. We need to go. We need to get some lunch. We need to stretch. Chat, you are the best, Law Nerds, and I will see you on the next one. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go get some lunch. Let's stretch. Let's hydrate. See you guys at 2 p.m. when court resumes. You can stay up to date with everything I'm covering and fast notifications on our free iOS and Android app at lawnerdapp.com or search the App Store for Law Nerd. You can also follow me around social media, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Emily Show, with quick bits dropping every Monday, summarizing everything I do here on the live streams on Tuesday and Thursday for when you just have time for the quick bits. Thanks for being a Law Nerd.